Jay's gonna lead the class today. Jay, get up front. Get up front and lead the class.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
This is the Imperial Scrolls of Honor podcast. I'm Josh Folan.
And I'm Jay Baxtron.
And I'm Jeff Burns.
And we are going to be bullshitting about the formative years of console gaming as we revisit the periodicals that covered it again. We are heading even further into the shit, dear adventure, on an RPG side quest with this pod, where we incrementally fiddle with an old school RPG, start to finish, with the assistance of vintage game literature. Our current quest is ridding the fair denizens of Torland of the evil sorcerer Hargon in Enix's 1990 release of Dragon Warrior 2 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. The accompanying literature of antiquity for us on this undertaking are the literatures of antiquity for us on this undertaking are the 52-page pack-in instruction manual and the Unveiled Secrets of Dragon Warrior 2, a 30-page tome, also published by Enix around the time of the game's release stateside. The link to a PDF of both of those will be in the show notes for the duration of the quest. Emulation disclosure, so you know the tools with which we are undertaking our quest to defeat Hargon. Jay, how are you playing?
I am playing with the standard NES controller piped in through my USB via good old NES-topia.
That looks just like mine. Jab.
NES-topia with keyboard controls.
I am still playing on my Abernic 351 MP handheld emulator all across the fucking USA, and I love the portability of it. Please rate and review the pod wherever you listen if you enjoy our shit. It really makes us feel great about these somewhat, sometimes, emotionally trying quests that we go on. In our previous installment of the side quest, we thoroughly canvassed the lands of Alefgard and had a cordial cup of tea with the Dragon Lord's grandkid at Castle Charlock. Coming out of that, I still had to play catch-up on the last page of our strategy guide and go hunt down that elusive shoal. So first things first on that. For being directly north of Leonport, exactly as I was instructed by the NPCs, I had much too difficult of a time locating this fucking thing.
I told you, man.
I wandered around for way too fucking long for how exactly north of Leonport it was. I was so like, fucking what the hell. So you do that, and or whether you find it, you pull up to it, and Todd, you hit the search thing, and it says, Todd dove overboard into the sea, and there Todd discovered the treasures. And they capitalized the T in treasures, so you know they're legit treasures.
Right.
They then show up in your inventory without the A in the word, though, making it feel kind of French to me, like treasures.
Is there a misspelling on there?
Yeah, it's not. Well, I would guess it's probably too long for the. It's probably the word is too long. Is my guess, and they probably just abridged it to make it fit in the menu. But
please is.
Yeah.
Maybe just not include the S and you can call it treasure. Like
right, yeah.
That can be plural in and of itself.
Right, yeah, that would be smarter. But, what are you going to
do? These are second language people. Yeah, they can't. It's not their fault. I don't blame them.
Do we know that Enix is an American company? I think they're fucking like 7 minutes from me.
Yeah, but
I've told you guys that, right? That they're like, I see their headquarters a couple of times a week minimum.
Huh. Yeah, that doesn't mean they're not like the American division.
That's true. That's very true. That fine, Jay, fine, with your bullshit. So when you smuggle the contraband back to the merchant at Leonport, he says, Thou hast done exceedingly well. As I promised, I shall give thee the echoing flute as thy reward. And then when you play this thing, says briefly, Todd play the echoing flute. And as DW1 made tradition, there is of course a flute ditty. Fun side note about using the search command at sea. The little message it gives you for that is fun to me. It reads, Todd dove overboard, but Todd found nothing. I don't know. I love that. Dove overboard, but found nothing. As I believe Jay prescribed at the end of the last step, the only remaining unexplored territories of the world map are a good-sized island in the southwest corner and a number of small islands peppered across the southeast quadrant. And then there's also a large valley in the central southern area, basically the southern hemisphere. But we can't get to the large valley on the southern central continent there because it's enclosed by mountain ranges on all sides, and we don't know how to navigate that quite yet. So I got that fucking thing, and I was like, well, I'm in Leonport. Osterfair is a castle of all these places I could go looking at my map, not just some peasant town. And in my mind, it was just southwest of the channel separating the Dragonhorn Towers a stone's throw from Leonport, because the world is round, Kyrie. So I figured, why not, and headed there next. But I kind of would figure out that wasn't really the smartest thing, so I'm thinking maybe you guys, did you guys also do that, or what? Where did you guys go after?
No, I went to the lighthouse next, and it's
how is that just your next thing?
So I wasn't sure what to do next. To be honest, like at this point,
I didn't know either. We should probably make that disclaimer.
Yeah,
Going into this episode, I was completely clueless as to even playing it. I played it for a while, and I was like, I'm pretty sure what we do is not even going to kind of line up. I don't even know if I could set a responsible endpoint that. You know, when we try to set these endpoints, it's like we want to feed J1 that doesn't explain what the hell to do, but is a for sure place that he'll end up.
Yeah.
So we can all kind of align with that and talk responsibly in a podcast structure about it. So I had no faith that we were going to be able to do that, basically. So yeah, I cannot wait to hear what it is you did for this episode.
So so this one, I had a couple thoughts, right? So during the last episode, recall that I, trying to get to the shoal, kept looping around the world and going. So I ended up Baran early. I've already gone through Baran and been talked to all those people and all that, just trying to figure out how to get to the shoal. And so I'm like, well, I've already done that. I can't really get to that southern hemisphere part like we talked about. There's those far islands, way off to the side, maybe. So when I was in Bran, obviously a spoiler for the next part, but when I was in Bran, they told me about the next crests and where to go, kind of in the southeastern part of the map. And so I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go there. But remember, we're also using that Unveiled Secrets guide, and so the literal next stop in there before Baran is Lighthouse. So I'm like, first of all, where the hell is
you looked at the fucking strategy guide?
Yeah.
You fucking bitch.
So here
I'm very serious. I thought we were supposed to look at it.
Yeah, I thought that was the whole point to guide us.
Not before. No. We talk about it at the end of it. We're supposed to go through the thing.
Okay. So my point though is that,
how did you not know where anything was then?
So like I said, I've already been in Baran, and my notes have already told me the Fire Monolith, Suncrest, Magic Loop, all these places to go to the southeast. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go there. But when I looked in the map, not the map, but the strategy guide, because I'm clearly thinking I'm supposed to use that, and they talk about this lighthouse, I'm like, what the? I'm afraid I'm gonna miss something if I go on and not go to this freaking lighthouse. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll go to this damn lighthouse first, and then because Tun is there next, we're getting to that. I'm like, that was a further.
We're not even going to get to that.
Yeah, I wish that was a complete waste of time. So go to Lighthouse and then go to Tun, and I'm just like, you
need to go to. There's shit to do in Tun, but yes. What I'm saying is, it's not in this going to be. I'm not going to talk about this episode. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I mean. So I'm super frustrated that I did these things. So I'm like, I don't really know.
Well, you're going to need to do it eventually. It's and honestly, you probably learned at least one little morsel of something by going there. Yes. That was helpful,
but the route
that I did not know for much of mine, or all of mine, because I still haven't been there. I don't think.
I don't know, man. The route to get there though took so long that I'm just
I don't even know where it's at. When I saw this in the strategy guide, when I finished my play, I was like, "What the fuck is Toon?"
That's what I said about the lighthouse. What the fuck's the lighthouse?
Well, I didn't know where the fuck that was either. I was fucking wandering forever to find, and it. Whatever, we'll get to that. But I was. I mean, I knew. Like I said, I had been. You mentioned having already been to Brand. Me too. I had went there via Monolith, that Monolith north of it.
Yeah.
Earlier on, I had wandered there, and I did some Gold Orc fighting, and I think that might be... No, I did that at Ostrafair, where I got the Dragon Killer and some magic armor or something.
Oh, you guys went there? No, fuck, I'm not anywhere near that.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are crazy.
What, Ostrafair?
No, Tun.
Oh, yeah, I don't even know. I don't know where it is. I honestly don't know where it is. Okay, well, let's talk about baby steps here. Let's talk about Baran. So Baran it's basically the new Remolder in my mind, Jab.
It's they jocked it so hard.
Yeah. It's nestled on a small island with a moat surrounding it, with just a one-tile sandbar connecting it to the mainland. And yes, that monolith is directly north of it through that woods. And I think that's, well, you said you've been there, but I went via the monolith though. Did you? You said, Jay, you got there by ship, right?
Yeah, I got there by ship, but I've also been to the monolith looping around before, and been like, oh, I'm here. Why? Yeah.
Okay.
But otherwise,
before or after you were throwing a tantrum via text message the other day?
No, I definitely been there as part of tantrum throwing. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, but I'm saying the monolith. So
just the monolith, because I don't think I had gone to the monolith quite yet.
Okay,
I remember thinking I should go to that monolith at some point because I've been to Brand multiple times.
Right. Okay, well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is it's having come there through the monolith, you pass through the fire monolith to do that, and that might have been why I was a little more easily able to geolocate this than some other participants on this podcast. I was thinking. So yeah, if you had wandered through that, it might have made that a little easier for you. But anyways, inside, all the paths and walkable areas are surrounded by water to carry over the overworld map vibe. So also kind of Remoldery in that way, but also a good design decision, I think. And there are peeps everywhere for a hearty townsfolk chatter segment. So let's get rolling on that. The Walmart greeter is a merchant. He says, "We call this town Baran. Welcome." And then there's a rabbi wandering around nearby him that says, "I see that thou hast faced many dangers and the greatest lie ahead," which is a depressing...
Jay read that and was like,
fuck. Here we go.
There's a soldier outside a massive cell with a barbarian locked inside who is surrounded by a different kind of hazard tile than we've seen so far. And that's kind of interesting to see. But this soldier says, "Roge Fastfinger? No, I have not heard the name." We'll hear that name a lot. A dude outside the weapon armor shop says, "Ostrafair lies south of Maidenhall on a great island." Another testament to you're supposed to go here before you go to Ostrafair, if you don't even want to look at the fucking strategy guide to tell you that, probably. And his old man sidekick says, "The leaf of the world tree has the power to revive ghosts." And a barbarian inside says, "I seek the Thundersword, for one need not know magic to use its power." And
he actually won't move from the counter, so he's just waiting for new inventory. He just stands in the same spot and will not move, and he's like, "I'm first in line for the Thundersword, and I'm not fucking moving."
He's the guy that needs the pair of Nikes. He's out there fucking a week in advance.
Our younger listeners probably don't know, but we used to we never camped out or set up a tent or anything, but people would set up tents outside of Best Buy to get Halo 2 opening night or something. So
well, that's what I'm saying. The shoes is the modern thing. That's where people do that shit for.
People are doing that for shoes currently?
Yeah, people do that. I'd say a lot of that shit is happening, actually. It's probably worse than it's ever been because everything gets worse. They make it more scarce so they can charge more, which people fucking like Pavlov's dog fucking, or, they fucking...
They really want to do it.
Yeah, salivate even more for it. So it's always getting worse. A soldier is posted up in one of the two rooms in what is comparable to most we frequent in Torland, a very large inn. He says, "If thy name is Todd, I have a message for thee. Seek the fire monolith, and thou shalt find the sun crest." And there is just no bullshitting around that information. That's what I was saying via text message. I was rather certain that the fire monolith was accessible via the monolith north of town, so it immediately kind of sparked that in me. So sure, that's part of it. But I hated it. I hated how explicit. I mean, the way it's hidden, I guess you.
Your rant rings hollow to me. Yeah,
That's the thing is, it's really specific, but like once you get there, it becomes the most non-specific thing, literally in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Is like I hate like both sides.
This
of
is
it.
cheap.
Like, yeah, if
they didn't tell you, you'd like I would throw the game in the garbage.
Right.
Dude, no joke. I remember like so I didn't get to say it earlier, but I'll just throw it in here. I didn't need any information from the internet or otherwise for this part, because I think this was the point that Josh and I always got to, and like our ability to successfully and timely navigate this part of the game, the acquisition of the first 3 crests, that kind of determined whether or not we were going to move on to another game.
It's the Marsh Cave. It's the Marsh Cave of Dragon Warrior.
It's the
2.
Marsh Cave of Dragon Warrior 2. And we, like, I know for an actual fact that the Fire Monolith and the Suncrest is the one that we could not find, and like many a game stopped there. And once we figured it out through whatever means that we did, like it's just seared into my head. So these issues that Jay had, like it was the exact inverse for me, like one over that, because
I didn't remember where it was.
I didn't remember the exact tile, but like I knew it was there.
Right, exactly. I just
and like the fucking layout of the monolith itself is cheap. Like the tiles don't do you any favor. It's cheap. It's whack.
Well, see, here's the thing. Yeah, I wish that. I hate that they had to tell me this so explicitly. And I on the flip side of it, hate that it's required for them to do that. What I would have loved is a more organic way of making that. You know, like you could even have the dude at the fire monolith.
Yes, there's a guy there that could. I'll use some stupid fetch quest or something.
Well, yeah, whatever. Just some sort of clue from him that is less. You know, some sort of like the stories of yore that fucking, you know, there's something here that would just make you want to search like that. And like I said, There's also the thing too, and I love this aspect of it. And, you know, and there's no way to know how this is not definitive enough to rely on as whatever fact or some sort of dependable means by which to lead you down the path to get this thing. But to me, this is a nod to the Stones of Sunlight in the first game, which, if you remember, you have to do that outside the castle walk in Tantagel to get to them, to get to the basement outside. You have to go out once you get the key, you can go outside and you can walk around it there. And the clue for that is you can see someone walking out there. And you're like, oh, fuck, maybe I can go out there. And then you do, and you go out there and you can walk along the wall, and there's a staircase, and there's a dude down there that gives you the Stones of Sunlight. And it could have been as easy as, someone walking out there. That also is a way to do it. But, I kind of think that they're leaning on that a little bit here, that like you're gonna make some connection, which a lot of that's just
terrible.
That's a device of the time, though, man. It's like I was talking about Maniac Mansion, Jay. My biggest concern with that is like so much of the game is just obtusely jamming 2 items together in your inventory, hoping they turn into something. It's fucking. That's how games were, man. They like expect you, or not expect you. Well, they do expect you, of course, because it's part of the fucking narrative. But like the expectation of players at the time was to really try and exhaust all possibilities.
But this is my issue though, because in addition to me searching outside the fire monolith every square, and not then literally outside the monolith every single square, but then. Once I went into the monolith, I searched every square inside.
Oh, you mean on the overworld map?
Yeah, on the
crazy.
overworld. And then inside the monolith, every single square. But like, I didn't think to look.
That wouldn't even occur to me.
But hear me out though. Every time, I didn't think to go to do the little outside thing, because there's so many different towns in this game that I tried to do that, and the minute I step outside, I'm completely out of the thing. So I'm like, why would I try that here? It doesn't work 9 out of 10 times.
But that one time, that is the thing, dude, and that is it. I mean, I have done there. There's a village we're going to talk about here where there's one of those, and yeah, I mean, probably because of the fucking Stones of Sunlight walk, I will try that in every RPG town I go in.
Yep.
Back in these games, they have them in Final Fantasy. The walk over to those fucking the magic shops with the really lit shit in the one village, the leaf, whatever it is, like
Leaf where you get the level 8 spells.
Yep,
nuke
right.
At least. And
and yeah, so like that, that is just it's a what's the fucking terminology? That's the literacy. That's a RPG of the 90s RPG literacy. Like core fucking building block, And like, yeah, if you don't have that experience, like you don't have that, you're just fucked.
Which is not, it's like, I do find it to be a bit cheap, but
sure.
Sure. Yeah.
But again, you have to, you can call it cheap today, but I don't think you can call it cheap then. It's just part of
There's only so much you can do, of course.
Right. Yeah. They're trying to do shit outside the box with a very limited tool set. And I think that is one interesting way to do it for sure. And it is, because like you said, that you can talk yourself, like you had the thought and then talked yourself out of it. Like it doesn't work most of the time. Like that's fucking great. Yeah. But on the same token, just again, the literacy of the time. Like, I never would have thought to search, because that never happens. But it should. Like, it should. That's you're looking at it from a too logical perspective.
Well, if I searched inside and found nothing, I'm like, well, clearly, like, I'm at the monolith. Maybe it's, like, right around,
Right,
like, you never freaking know.
No, it makes a ton of sense, Jay.
Even when I first walked into the monolith itself, like off the world map, like so the first thing I tried to do was like go around, out the front door and around, and that sent me back outside. So like I went back in and I looked at the map and I was like, oh, those little fucking stupid tiles on the right and left hand side must be openings that you would not know. So like even I knew where it was and I still forgot.
Yeah, I mean my fucking accent, just like I'm not. I tried to like exit, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm not out yet. I'm like, try it. Yeah, a beautiful.
I'll never forget that. Well, I mean, like I said, we fucking did that as a kid, and like, although they told you right where it is, it's not that easy. And now that's the easiest crest for me to find. Like I'll die at old age, whenever that is, and never forget that.
Yeah,
there's a certain amount of insanity for you even talking about playing this game more than once. To get past that whole statement.
You're starting to know me. I think you get
it. There's just zero doubt in my mind it will be in a counselor's corner in a very near issue of Nintendo Power. Okay, back to townsfolk chatter. That little fucking tangent of sadness. A surplus rabbi is outside the house of healing. He says, "Pardon me, good folk, but dost thou have the time?" If you say no, he says, "Then may thy ears become cabbages and thy tongue a sausage. A little courtesy never killed anyone." And if you say yes, he simply says, "I thank thee very much indeed." So this is just an NPC reminding you not to be a shithead, which...
such random dialogue.
It's just so I love when they do it too, because so many of these are they're just sticking spoons in your mouth of narrative plot points. So I just love when they like take some development time to just do some crazy random shit with them. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
We get some more crest intel from a soldier in the same area. He says, "Thou should see the king of Osterfair for the moon crest." So yeah, I mean just kind of really.
Pretty straightforward.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you're like, it's because you're playing it. We're playing it for this reason, or for me, I should say. I shouldn't speak generally here, but for me, it's because I'm playing it for the podcast, and I do these so granularly. But I can't believe that I ever had any problem. If I just would have fucking paid attention.
But see, that's what I mean. Like, I even had the notes for that, and like, I was kind of like, all right, where do I go? Like, I can't get there. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of got to search around and I clearly had to search and find the monolith and all that kind of stuff first. But yeah,
for that one,
it's good to have the explicit instructions, but you still had to kind of figure out where the hell to go and to make.
But this one is like, go see the king in Osterfair. Like, that's unmistakable.
That was pretty straightforward when you actually get to the king.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
A girl outside a hut with the Imperial Scrolls of Honor scribe in the northwest corner says, "With the magic loom and dews yarn, thou can make the water flying cloth." Got that, Jay?
I definitely wrote it down. I don't know
Okay.
what these things are. But
I would, anytime you see those two words, I would jot those things down really word for word, because you're gonna have some trouble with that little thing, and I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it play out.
I don't like this. I don't like the tone. I don't like your tone, Josh. I mean, I always write down anytime people tell me any place I should go or anything I should do or get. I always like capitalize it and bold it and like word for word so that I can come back. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be able to refer to whatever the hell this is, because that's clearly
we got to do
a thing I need to do.
We're gonna do this from now on. We need to. I think we should post at least an excerpt. It doesn't have to be. It's too much, probably. But a nice choice excerpt from each quest, our own personal notes for this. And I love that Jabs is probably going to be just a notepad with maybe some doodles on it and nothing really there.
All right.
And then, Jay, you're probably more concise and, like, abridged, just essential things. And then my, ridiculous fucking
everything.
Bible.
I'm writing way too much.
I think abridged is a good. I think that's a good descriptor.
So yes, a stationary girl nearby. He says, in the ocean far to the east lies an island on it, and on it are trees from every corner of the world. And connected to the other remark about trees, perhaps, with that one, did you come, so that's the end of Townsfolk Chatter, so let me ask you this, Jay. Coming out of Bran there, whenever you did it, did it lead to you? Well, one, have you found the World Tree yet?
Yes. I did find the World Tree, yep.
Was that enough information to incentivize you, or would you just explore that anyways because of how it looks?
At this point right now, I'm thinking, I don't know, I might not have explored it. I mean, it was very straightforward, because I was like, all right, I'm going to go there because of what they said and because of how it looks, you know? But otherwise, I'm not sure I would have explored it, because I'm currently passing islands because I'm trying to just get to there's not something there, you know? Like, maybe there's going to be a point where I have to come back and search these islands again.
Right.
But like right now, if there's not stuff there, I'm just not going there, you know? Yeah.
And that's, it's such a jab. I mean, that, I can't, there's no way for me to disassociate my, the importance of what that is and how helpful it is. Mm-hmm. There's just no way for me to even guess what my incentive otherwise would be. Yeah, or without my existing knowledge, I guess is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? There's just no way.
You mean in getting the leaf?
Yeah.
I'm actually, I got it. I'm just kind of like, okay, I guess it's good. I mean, I don't know how important this is going to be, but it's...
You haven't used it yet?
No.
You don't know what it does?
I mean, I know what it does, but I haven't... when I picked it up, I had no idea. And it's only when I'm, looking through the strategy guide and stuff after I'm done, oh, that's what that does. Okay, I guess I'll...
Being able to revive... Being able to revive a character in a dungeon, Jay, is very helpful, I promise you.
And especially we'll cover it in Tales of the Grind, I'm sure, but this is the session where I remember this game is fucking hard. There's regular ass, I mean, just literally in the process of my grinding, I'll just get wiped. It's entirely plausible that no matter how prepared, you can go in full health and you hit 5 dragonflies and you could be looking at using that leaf.
Yeah, I could, if there are, I don't remember what their attacks were specifically. I know we'll get to that in Bestiary, but I wonder if there's a fire protection thing, because there was definitely randomly one time, I don't remember where I was, but something...
Those pink things. Those
pink things. It killed me with a bunch of fire, and I was not prepared.
Well, the dragonflies are the green ones. I think the pink ones are they're close to that.
Nope.
Though.
Fly is green. Dragon.
Oh, you're right.
Usually am actually.
Yep. No, we put. What was the? I wish I could remember what the thing was.
You pulled my card twice on.
Twice on the first one.
I can tell everyone, all the listeners know it's the fucking high point of your life. Congratulations, you got me on some stupid technicality.
Those were not technicalities. For commerce pursuits, one can find an inn at 30 a head, a predatory gambling shark calling himself a lottery merchant, The House of Healing that we mentioned, a tool shop with the usual, and the weapon and armor shop is ran by Barbarian with the Giant Hammer at 4K, a Wizzy Wand at 2.5, Dragon Killer, what a name for those, at 8K, a Steel Shield at 2K, the Shield of Strength at 21.5K, whoa, and the Iron Melon Caps at 3150. And I already had something better for Todd, but my POC was all about that overpriced SOS, and I had been saving for a long while, so I was pretty close to the savings required, and I only need to do a brief grind outside with the gold orcs, which are fortuitously right there, which is maybe why they put them there.
Wait, to get which one?
To get the Shield of Strength, the 21,500.
What?
Have you not even noticed that?
No, I'm surprised you got it. I definitely don't even have. I don't even have the gold to get that now.
Oh man, yeah, I came here. Was it last? Close to last. So I mean, I had done everything else we're gonna do for this episode, and I had already gotten the Dragon Killer and the Magic Armor last episode. So
I didn't have those,
so I had nothing to spend gold on, and I was fucking wandering forever. I think I'd already done the Golden Key tour, everything maybe when I got this, and yeah, it was it's a nice come up. It's 18 defense power versus 4 with the leather shield, but also casts heal more when used in battle, and therein lies the added value you're paying the heavy tax on, because it fucking takes the the MP drain out of heal more, which is crazy.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I've decided I don't like this. I don't like the layout. I don't like this game. He said playing Civ 4 while he does a podcast on it. I don't like the equipment flow in this game. I don't appreciate that the Sword of Edric is not Erdrick
useful. Yeah,
that it comes so early. So having minimal opportunities to actually role play in this game, I'm not using anything but Erdrick gear for Prince of Maidenhall.
It's not,
if it was good enough for Erdrick, then it's good enough for me.
I don't. So okay, we don't. I don't. We'll get, I guess, there. I don't really. I know I need 2 more crests, but I don't really know. I'm pretty close to as far as I've ever gotten. So I don't know if there's some really hot shit that's going to... I guess there's some sort of really fucking Hargon toppling sword that is going to become available beyond the Dragon Killer. But I'm guessing there's maybe only one more step on the Prince of Maidenhall's weapon ladder. And... the Dragon Killer is only a little bit better than the Sword of Erdrick.
Yeah, I just don't like that I can just buy that at a shop, though.
No, I don't like it either. And like I said,
it's not even like cost prohibitiveness. It's like $8,000. It's not even that bad.
Right. Yeah, and I hope that there's some really bout it thing that you get that is mythical and not a store bought thing. But I don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute though. But while we're talking weapons. Side tangent, because this is important. When it comes to what version we're playing, right? So, because I've looked up the weapons and just to try to figure out like who can equip which weapon, and the Prince of Canuck can equip the Sword of Erdrick, but like only in like the remakes or something.
We cannot.
Yeah, he definitely can. Yeah, don't whatever you're looking at. Don't look at that. Mike's RPG Center, Jay.
That's all you need.
I'm like, as to see in parentheses, and I only ask that question because usually, like the names of things in the game kind of line up with the remix name. So I'm like, am I playing a remix version? Like, how is this possible?
They get a little wonky. Yeah, no, one, I would say. You don't need to qualify asking that question. It is important. You're right. But yeah, what I would say also is, yes, because there's so many remakes and the wiki has kind of amalgamated them a great deal, or the wiki. I would always, Mike's RPG Center is always the original OG, only information. Yeah. Even everything is
NES.
Anything. Yeah, 1,000% NES, and that is going to be the most clear and concise information. If you need to look up weapon tables or anything, that's the website to use for sure. To not get confused. But yeah, the Prince of Cannot cannot use the Sword of Ardor.
Yeah, but Jay, I agree. That's bullshit because they're literally of the same line. I mean, like the Prince of
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fucking fantastic point. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really good at those.
That's why I was curious. Like,
they all should be able to. She should be able to use it too.
Yeah.
Fucking sexist fucking pigs.
Well, in their defense, she probably doesn't have the strength requisite to wield it correctly.
That's not no. It's not a common biology based capability. It's why if only he can wield it. By he I mean Prince of Maidenhall.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me he's the strongest motherfucker on the planet? No,
that's
absolutely
not what I'm
not.
saying.
Well, then there must be. There's some sort of like magical component to being able to lift it, wield it.
Well, then if it was magical, then yes, I agree. She would have the magic in her just as much as anybody else. My point, however, two things. I'm gonna. Well, actually, you don't need a lot of strength to wield a sword. It's not supposed to be a strength-based weapon. So that's one thing. But you do need a certain amount of strength to wield it correctly.
Sure.
So I don't think a woman would necessarily be fit for that, and history bears that out, that they typically didn't do that. So
agreed.
I'm fine with her not.
If we're just working with standard biology here, but we're not.
But we are. I mean, to a certain degree, we are.
I don't think so.
Okay. What townsfolk shadow do you have to reference there? Cite your sources, because that's not real.
That they are of this storied line they are the only ones capable of toppling these fucking demons that come and terrorize the fucking world every time. Like
sure.
that, this line of blood has something in it that makes them.
So the princess should be
above
like
and
Arya
beyond.
Stark. She should be able to just wield this and like
She should be able to do. She should be able to do ninja shit.
Absolutely, let's go.
Yeah, well, hold on. I mean, I'm still right though. Jay, you referenced Arya Stark. She used what was essentially a rapier.
Well, yes, okay.
Which is an incredibly light thing. I mean, that's... No.
Well, okay, I referenced the, like, smallest Stark of them all. Like, I'm sure there's better examples.
Look, I'm an ally. I'm just saying women can't use swords. That's all.
Coming out of Baran, let's do a little monolith dance. And the middle whirlpool in that monolith up north of Baran indeed does lead to the fire monolith the cat told us housed the sun crest. In what I think can be deemed a vague nod, I already said that.
We did cover it.
Yeah. So this was not my first crest. Was it either of yours? Just to, again, establish a little bit of the timeline for each of us here.
I don't. No, because I went to the lighthouse first. So this was my second one.
Right. And
this was my. Oh, sorry. Were you gonna elaborate?
No, I was gonna say this is probably your first, then, based on what you said earlier.
Yeah, it was my first, just because I'm so proud of knowing it now. Yeah. It's like really low bars in my life, just constantly.
Whatever generates some fucking dopamine, man. Whatever gets you there. There's a wise man in the Baran monolith I don't believe we've yet featured here on our Steam podcast, and I think he has something the whole world needs to hear. Some say that Hargon has cast a spell over his entire castle, and that it looks fair and peaceful. Thou will not be deceived if thou hast the gift of Rubus. And that is a major quest objective, dear adventurer. Jot it carefully down in your moleskin for reference at a later time. It's also... I kind of feel, Jab, is that kind of an Ultima thing? Wasn't there something with the castle? It wasn't just the snake, was it? There was something about the castle, too, that you needed to have some item that allowed you to look at it a different way.
I don't remember offhand.
Yeah, I can't remember specifically.
Unless you're thinking maybe of the Mira Ra earlier in this game?
No.
We don't talk about Ultima on this podcast.
I really don't want to talk about Ultima on this podcast. I have done more than enough.
Talk about Ultima.
It's a very important step in the lineage, guys. Just because it was a dark step doesn't mean it wasn't a step we had to step on.
We could have skipped over. We could have jumped over that step.
I felt stepped on.
Gotta hopped over that one. Well, I'm gonna save that. That's punny. I'm gonna keep that one sheathed. World Tree Island now, with nowhere really left to explore or unexplored otherwise, you must then sail south from Baran and head to the islands in the southeast quadrant of the map, where you will pass a desert island surrounded by mountains with a lone tree curiously planted in the middle. And this is the World Tree with the leaves capable of reviving ghosts that we're told of in Baran. And we already talked about you making the connection. And yeah, holy shit are these that come up. They amount to, yes, a portable house of healing for all intents and purposes. And that is incredibly clutch.
I really liked and you guys didn't touch on it, which I kind of found surprising a little bit. But I really appreciated the imagery that this island, it doesn't just, like when I was younger, and you kind of just did it, but you're reading from a script and whatnot, so you got to perform a little bit. But my impression when I was younger playing this game was like there was a tree on this island, and it had this leaf that does this thing. But the guy, I think in Baran, actually references it, or one of the townsfolk guys, I think it was Baran, he references this as an island where there's like
multitude of trees,
like
right?
All the trees on Earth like are on this island. And I was like, oh, what fucking great imagery to paint that picture. Like, imagine such an island on Earth, excusing the biology that wouldn't allow it to happen, but like, wow, that's a really this island is just like grass and a tree sprite and then some mountains around it or something. Sand, okay.
Right.
But like at the same time, like, if you stopped to picture like an island that just had every fucking kind of tree and plant, around, like, how fucking incredible would that be? So.
And it's, I thought you were just going to say that it was,
it would not be this one.
well, that would be the simplification of the sprite work, the tiles being just one tree in this, like, in the middle of a desert. But like, if you really, really think about how that would translate to a real world situation where, yes, you have the mountains surrounding it, so it's enclosed from all sides, you can't see it, it just has this one little sandbar to this opening of, yes, all otherwise sand tiles. And yeah, I think that, I think we can call that beach, not desert, even though I just misused that term desert. I mean, I guess any sand is desert, whatever. That's a philosophical debate, perhaps, that we don't need to have right now. But yes, that it's, every tree on Earth in like this little cluster kind of is a really, really magical and cool thought for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I hadn't really, even with that, I was gonna, that was my thinking, is that this island didn't really line up with what that person said, but instead of that being a little more positive jab and just interpreting this as such is probably a really cool thing that probably not enough players made the connection of, because that is a really cool image.
Yeah, it's hard to necessarily get that information across without having somebody, you're looking for an 8-year-old kid to read something like that from a person they talk to. Like, okay, fine, right. I get how you missed it. I guess in all reality, now that I think about it, that island is akin to Madagascar on Earth. Madagascar has something like 8% of the world's biodiversity found on it, but it's obviously like 1/trillionth of the total land area,
and getting smaller by day.
There's also a really horrible famine over there in the south of the country that's affecting like 1 million people. So that sucks.
Which is part of why the rainforests get fucking wiped out, because they don't have no other means by which to generate commerce. And they only yield 5 gold in the marketplace, these leaves. So there is, I think this is beautiful too, there's no incentive to try to launch a massed harvesting campaign of them. So there's a little bit of, just as I was just discussing, a little bit of green philosophy in the way the game, implements the economics of these, that they're not some valuable thing that you can just go and sell. Is, I think, a good thing.
Yeah, I tried to sell it too, and I appreciated that. I was like, you can't fucking get the shield of strength that way. You got to work for it.
Right. Yep. So Osterfair is on a small circular island that is almost entirely surrounded by the same tiles you found the treasure in, which is likely a big reason why I was so surprised to see the literature try to term that it is a shoal of fish. And I think maybe that's what I mean. That's why kind of like I've struggled to make that connection. I had been to Osterfair first. I don't view these tiles as shoals. They're just like some barrier shit, around some of these islands on the southeastern part of the world, And
there is a shallow area.
Well, I actually have I found justification in it a little later on that kind of totally undermined that perspective. But anyways, there's a river inlet on the western side that allows you to sail in and drop anchor in a small lake where you can then travel by foot to the castle a few steps to the northwest. I would come here first after running my pirate booty. And fairly interesting layout for this structure. You are inside the castle walls when you enter, which wrap around the west-northeast sides of the castle. And there's an entrance to the interior, though uncovered castle area in the middle of the east wall, and then a whirlpool and a locked golden door in the southwest tower base. And the whirlpool just leads to 2 more locked doors in a similar shaped room. A guard stands at the main area entrance that says, "Beyond lies the Colosseum and the court of the king." And important to note, I think that he says, "the king," not "thy king," and that is a notable distinction. He's not your king, bitch. And then you do walk immediately into the Colosseum, a 7x5 tile space, mostly comprised of sand with some grass in the corners, and there is a dog sprite in a small cage opposite the door you walk in, and the king presides over this plot of land from the northern side of the town, or northern side of it, with a damsel at each of his feet. And I picture them kneeling and fanning this shurid egomaniac the entire time you are here.
Yeah, I pictured him, so when I came into this, this is one of the places I'd kind of forgotten about a little bit, and when I came in, I was kind of impressed with with how dramatic it was. You walk in the bottom right corner of what ends up being the castle map, and everything's dark. You're just in a hallway, so like that's all you can see. The hallway necessarily restricts your view of the inner, the inner sanctum's not the right word, but the inner part of the castle. And then same thing when I got to the king, and everything unfolds. It's going to unfold. I kind of picture this guy as like a little bit of like a shithead.
Oh, for sure, dude. I have a blast of copy here that I can't wait to get to. It's incredible. Think about
what the fuck?
Yeah, even before we get into the specifics of him, like the fact that the entrance, like think about this is how we kind of like really parse that World Tree Island. Think about the actuality of what the architecture and the workflow of this castle layout. The idea that yes, you have to enter, and then you don't come in like, think about like Tantagel or whatever. You walk in the door, getting to the king, if he's not hiding in a fucking hovel, is like you walk up through a hallway to a stairwell to the throne room. No, here you come in like basically the basement is what those kind of amount to. And you come in to an arena. Think about like, Gladiator is the easiest film comparison I can think of. Like you have to walk out into this open space where people die for the entertainment of the king on a routine
classes,
basis.
I would say.
Yes.
Don't let him off the hook.
So the fucking, that's a crazy thing to ask visitors of your castle to do if you think about it.
Yeah. It's like you walk in and you're just right there, and like, I don't know. Depends on what mood the king's in, but you are right there and ready to entertain, as it were.
Right, exactly.
It's funny to me that you guys could even go through the quote unquote front door. I didn't even realize like that you could get to Osterfair by boat. So like until I looked at the map just now, like very closely, I realized you could get in through that inlet. I thought you were kind of blocked all the way around and had to get through the monolith to kind of get there. So when you go through the monolith north of Osterfair,
in the tower,
you end up on the other side, out of that whirlpool, and you gotta walk around. So I was like, "Where the hell am I?" I'm like, "Oh, so this is how you get there." So in my mind, they're like guarded away on this island that you can only get through a monolith. So it's like clearly they're afraid or something and like, you know, hiding away and don't want anybody to be able to like get in at all.
Well, that's an even wilder interpretation or role play in your head that they have like voluntarily changed the geography to block them off. You know, that would be really extreme, especially in these times when, you know, excavation and major construction projects are a little bit more of an undertaking than they would be in modern day.
I know the Aztecs built Tenochtitlan on a big old swamp, and they drive these huge wooden pylons into the earth into the swamp and then build on top of that.
Jab, that was aliens. That's not.
All right, I forgot. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Mesoamerican cave builder and stuff. But yeah, I like this idea that they're like a xenophobic, reclusive people. Because, I mean, sure enough, you show up and the king's a dick to the outsider.
Right, I was going to say, their leader would certainly generate that kind of fucking culture for sure.
Yeah. Who are you? Prove yourself. Go for it. Like,
right.
What?
Yep. So before we get to the king, there's a prisoner in a cell in the northwest corner of town, and there's a handful of booths and shops wrapping from there to the southwest corner and eastward. There's a brick road leading outside to the south also, which seems like a much more suitable way to enter this area than the way you enter. So that's the weird thing, too, that you can get out that way, but you can't come in that way. Yeah, but, you know, what the fuck do I know about medieval castle traffic flow design, you know?
There's a lot that goes into it, actually.
Right, yeah. Well, who knows? So let's start seeing what these peeps have to say in townsfolk chatter, and logically, yes, you must speak to the egomaniac king first. He says, "Thou art welcome in my castle of Osterfair." Okay. Sure. So he's establishing a position of power immediately in this conversation. You are welcome in my castle, which classic egomaniac move. Then he goes on to say, "If thou entertain me, thou shalt receive a valuable prize. Dost thou wish to try? And what kind of psychopath? First thing in meeting someone, ask whether they'd like to entertain him."
Right? Come on,
you have to be a fucking maniac.
Only the kind of person who would be a king would do that.
Yes, guy.
Yes, and you get to actually answer his query. There's no just assumptions here. You can say no, and he says, "That's unfortunate. Goodbye," and that's it. Like, I have no use for you then. Be gone.
Right?
You know? Like, fucking, get the fuck out of here, peasant.
I wish they would kick you out, though. Like,
yeah,
I know why they don't, because, like, that's just kind of heavy-handed, but, like...
They should, you're right, because what it means... They should. That's right. I agree. I totally agree. Because, the idea, and when I first came here, I definitely, especially, again, the way I'm doing it for the podcast, I'm like, I know I'm going to get myself into a fight with that. So I remember that part of it. So I'm like, I don't want to do that right now. I need to go around and fucking do all these things.
Yeah, hit the end real quick.
Right, exactly.
But the king, a psychopath like him wouldn't be like, yeah, go take a nap and then you can get to it. This is not my problem. You are entertaining me.
Yep. Or you were leaving. Yeah, one or the other. Yes. I'm surprised. It would be even better, actually, Jab, is if there is no way to say no. You can say no, and he says, "Fuck you," and closes the gates and lets the thing out anyways. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that, yeah.
Incorrect answer. The actual answer is, entertain me.
The actual answer is saber tiger.
Right. Yes, yeah. But if you do say yes, he says, "Thou must go forth to the center of the Colosseum." And then you trot out there, and the door to the cage with the dog opens, and it runs out at you, and initiating a battle against a saber lion, actually, not a saber tiger.
Oh, you pulled my card, Josh.
Yes, yeah. It's just it's routine, Jab. What can I say? "Thou hast done well. I shall give thee the moon." This is after you beat it, of course. "Thou hast done well. I shall give thee the moon crest. Thou must fight. Yeah, thou must fight gallantly." So he's like, I don't know, just in general, okay. After watching that, in a general sense, thou must fight gallantly. Not you did, but just in a general way. So I dusted this thing off with little difficulty, and boom, just like that, I had my first DW2 tat. So you get the moon crest from this dude, and this is what sent me down the road of actually getting tatted up for this. That's what I'm calling this episode, as far as just the episode title. So get tatted up.
I kind of like the imagery of getting some shit burned onto your skin or something. Sure. The skin of the fucking descendant of Erdrick or something. So yeah, I don't hate that.
Yep. And I mean, honestly, I interpret it as not, customary fucking iron branding. I think it's some sort of magical something that that the people that give them to you, or however you obtain them, that I think of it as some sort of magical induction that would cause, yes, a physical representation of it on their body.
Yeah. Maybe like they hand you like the the physical crest, and then once it touches your skin, it like burns up and then sears onto your skin somewhere or something.
Sure. Even that, like, I don't even think you need to. Again, I don't think you needs to be a physical conduction of it. I think like there's just some sort of. I think of it as just like no object, like just like some sort of bestowment to you. Some sort of, I don't know, a spirit or whatever. I just think I perceived it as something more magical than that. His bitches, and those aren't my words, those are this king's for sure, have some remarks too. They say, "Thou art the great warriors of which we have heard," and I can't help but read sarcasm in that statement. And the other, she says that before you fight too. These are pieces of dialogue. They don't change after you beat the Saber Lion, but this is said to you before you fight. So yeah, I sense sarcasm there. And the other harem member says, "Here in the Colosseum, many heroes have proven their strength." And if that was true, the Saber Lion wouldn't still be there. They're both trying to maybe Jedi mind trick you here to get you to entertain this insufferable prick they're stuck shadowing all day, every day, in my opinion. I think that's their goal here, that they're trying to like pump you up so you'll go out there and do it, and this guy will shut the fuck up for 5 minutes.
If he's watching you get fucking, mauled by a Saber Lion, then he's probably not like beating them or something.
Right.
This is as easy as it gets for them. It's the closest thing they get to sleep, to quote Futurama.
Yeah, and it's so perfect happenstance that you're playing Civ right now, Jab, because I noticed they were spelling Coliseum as Coliseum, which is not how I spell that word. Mm-hmm. I spell that word Colosseum.
Yes.
And looking this up, they are doing it right with the I, and I have been spelling the word incorrectly my whole entire life.
How often do you write Coliseum?
Often enough for me to notice this when I was fucking writing it down. And I play a lot of RPGs too.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, though. I have to. My thing about English is an insane language. I'm not even convinced it's real. So it's everything about English is like literally made up. So.
Well, there are defined parameters for this. This is not just a fucking willy-nilly thing. An outdoor stadium is spelled with an I, and the O and the two S's is for the Roman Colosseum specifically. It's only the one. It's not just in fucking ancient Roman.
When you said two S's like that, your spelling sounded off to me when you said it, so it kind of makes sense. I was like, wait, what
really?
Now? Yeah.
No,
that's because everyone's probably familiar with the Roman Colosseum primarily.
Right, well, yeah, I spelled this wrong because I learned how to spell this word from Civilization 2, Jab, and have reinforced that with 4 more Civ games over the last 25-ish years. That's why I spell that word that way.
Yeah, well, you could have cut a lot of time down off of that and 2 Civ games if you just stayed on 4, which is the best. And you're going to argue, you're going to fucking say something stupid.
You're wrong.
Like
you're sitting there playing an antiquated game
honestly,
because
I really honestly feel
because
bad
you have terrible video game taste, which is why you haven't downloaded Demio, and I'm playing on a VR headset you refuse to get. So that's we know how wrong you are about video games, Jab.
Cannot believe you're so committed to being so wrong.
We don't need to get into that tangent right now. We'll never finish this episode. The Coliseum lurker just south of it says, as the story goes, it was a dark and stormy night when the pirate ship, Relentless, hit a reef and sank. They say that in its hold was the echoing flute. And this dialogue shoots my aforementioned criticism to shit. If those tiles are reefs, not just the fish, their being able to prevent a ship from reaching land is 100% feasible.
Well, I mean, yeah, like if you think about it, like that's why Osterfair has reefs around it. Like it has the mountains on one side, but then like the reefs on the other. That's why to me, like I didn't know it was specific reefs. I just knew I can't get past it.
Well, exactly. So that's what I was saying, Jab. I views it as just some bullshit arbitrary thing because there were like the idea that you're telling me it's a shoal of fish and that fish are preventing me from getting to land. Like, no, my boat's going to sail right into them if that's where I need to get to. But yes, if it's a reef, then okay, that makes a lot of sense. And there would be
reefs have sunk a lot of ships.
Yep, and there would be shoals of fish. That's the most concentrated fish population areas is fucking reefs. So, okay. Tell me that at first, and I won't talk shit about you for hours beforehand.
This whole town and their chatter here makes it seem like it's out of like we went in the wrong order. You know what I mean? Like they keep talking about this. Well,
this is, I think it's because that shit's so hard to find, and they knew that. I think that shit is so many places because yes, it's a integral thing. Although I have a question about that too, that we'll when we get there. But it's supposedly an integral plot point, and their expectation was that they knew it was hard, so that's fucking they're gonna feed it to you from all angles. Is my thinking there. But it did not occur to me that the flute was the treasure I smuggled back to the merchant. I thought he had it in his possession already and was giving that to you as a reward from his stash of shit.
Oh yeah, I guess.
But it's cooler that it's on the ship and you bring it back to him, and you don't know its significance. That's
it. Gives you a cut of it,
right?
Yeah.
Another dude nearby is on my level, being devout enough a minimalist to preach its merits, and he says, "Do not overburden thyself. Cast away those items thou doesn't need." And amen, brother. Throw that shit out, you pack rat! She's not here, but she should hear that.
You know what's funny is he said that, and I was like, "Oh, I should check my inventory. I had a ton of shit I needed to check."
That's fucking great.
I had fucking clothes. Why?
Yeah, I had clothes that I threw away just this morning as well, and that's mainly because I kept waiting for a place that I could sell extra stuff, and I'm not seeing that.
Gold.
So then you
like,
forget
all right,
about it. Yeah, you forget about it too. Yeah, especially the gold. It's fucking. You have to sell an awful lot of clothes to get a shield of strength.
Yeah.
It was more like the giant hammer, things like that. That I'm like, all right, I don't really need this thing that I bought. So,
a barbarian by the exit tells us of his hobbies. He says, "I seek the armor of Gaia. I was told that it was kept in a shop that sells armor, and barbarians don't wear armor, do they, Jab?"
Typically not.
Yeah, I support nonconformists, though, so play on, playa. The incarcerated soldier can be spoken to if you're willing to brave a couple swamp tiles leading to a cell door. And he says, in the island town of Zahan in the Southern Ocean lives a man named Torval who owns the Golden Key. And that is a hot bit of information that due diligence need be conducted upon.
Wait, can you say that one again?
In the island town of Zahan in the Southern Ocean lives a man named Torval who owns the Golden Key.
Okay.
Which is pretty specific. What rumbling ruminations do you have cooking up in your melon about that?
Me?
Yeah.
Are we going to get there today?
Of course.
We're going to get to Zahan? Oh yeah, that's right. We're doing the tour. That's right. I don't remember getting it from a dude.
You don't get it from a dude, but there's some more dialogue that will chain those together. What are those called? The gingerbread men when you cut them and they fucking what are those called? Terry chains?
What?
Idea.
No. When you fold the construction paper and you cut out the. Those are called.
I know what you're talking about.
They're called Terry chains or something, and it's a saying. Anyways, and that is the
riveting podcast.
An old man near him has a little booth set up. He says, "I am a fortune teller. Art thou looking for something?" And if you say no, he says, "So be it then. I shall tell thee nothing." So he's pretty salty about that. If you say yes, he says, "I'll tell thy fortune. That which thou seeks is north," is what I first heard from him. And so I was like, let's do a little more fucking delving into this. So in perfect fortune teller fashion, this guy is totally full of shit. He will change what direction he tells you if you talk to him multiple times.
Wow.
So, yeah, he'll say different fucking directions. And the thing about that and talking shit about it is, and I hear you going, Jay, it's also probably not wrong at this semi-early stage of the game.
Yeah, basically you have to go everywhere because
exactly.
And I was like, wait a minute, south.
Fucking word. Just like all fortune tellers, worthless.
And then I talked to him again, and he said north. So I was like, wait a minute, dude, are you going to tell me next also? Like,
wait a minute here, sir.
Like just a gosh darn minute.
Give me my gold back, and he's like, you didn't pay for that. And I'm like, I'm still upset.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, at least he doesn't charge for this useless information. He's fucking giving it out for free. So Jay, well, you said you went to Osterfair after your whole Baran and Fire Monolith shit, right? No, you said you got this one.
Yeah, I went afterwards, yeah.
Okay. So what I was going to say was it would be beautiful if you were all pissed off and pissy about not being able to find the sun crest and you talk to this guy and you're able to, you like are so desperate for direction that you're taking his device and you're like, fuck!
And he runs off to the east and does it, and he's like, I can't find anything. And he's like, goes back. He's like, you got to go west. And he's like, I swore you said east. And he runs off west.
I fucking swear, yeah.
So Jay's kids are crawling on him, so he can't focus and shit. He comes back like, you gotta go south. He's like, I fucking swear to God.
Thankfully not. Thankfully he did not affect. I did not fall for his schemes over here.
That's fucking great. That's a lot of fun. A rabbi with a hut of his own near that unique snowflake barbarian says, the echoing flute blows a magical note. On an island, in a tower, in a chamber remote. Play it and listen, a wise man once wrote. For when the sound echoes, there thou shalt find a crest of great power to aid thee in time. And this motherfucker is dropping a soliloquy on us to break news of how to get one of the crests. It's like Shefty dropping a fire free agency tweet.
He's actually on the streets freestyling.
The fucking rapping bum in Columbus. Fucking like, you're out to just get some just out to get some beer. Just out to get some beer from the fucking beer store. And this motherfucker is blowing your mind with some shit you did not expect to hear at fucking 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning. Like you're just walking along and you're like, wait a minute, what did you just say?
Really good.
For commerce, we have an inn that charges $25 a head and a weapon armor shop. Homeboy has a couple chests back there too, and the golden key door back there can be accessed from that southwest corner inside the castle walls, which is strangely close to the barbarian talking about that fire-sounding armor of lore. New things for sale are the giant hammer and dragon killer AK. At least they were new for me when I first came here, and they wouldn't be new if you had been to Bran first.
No, I just got him. I actually just bought the Dragon Killer when I got here, though. Like, because I think to our earlier conversation, thought the Sword of Urgic was still better than everything. And I'd kind of, and like I said, when I went to Baran, I wasn't really trying to be there. But I even still looked at the armor. Maybe I just didn't catch what it was. So I didn't buy it until like just now.
It's a come up. Coming out of Osterfair, my perceived objectives were Torval and Zahan for the Golden Key and a tower on an island to toot my flute in. And I figured Zahan first because towns suck less than dungeons. So Zahan is on the southeasternmost island on the map, and which is pretty near Osterfair, a tiny 8-tile plot of forest and grassland with an even tinier nearby island with a monolith. And this is the monolith you can poke out of from Maidenhall at the beginning of the game to give you a taste of a whole wide world out there that's out of your reach. And the layout of this town is very interesting. It is a sandy path symmetrically winding through it around a pub in the south central area of town. And then there's a huge room that dominates the northern half of the map. Inside of that is a large barrier tile area with a small pond in the center marked with a House of Healing iconography. And passing through the barrier tiles can get you to jailer key doors in the northeast and northwest corners that we can't open yet. So I don't know if you fucking guys tried that or not, but that's disappointing.
So this is frustrating because every time I see the jailer's key places, at this point in the game, I don't know what I'm missing or what I haven't got. You know what I mean? Like I don't know the little blank islands I passed. Like I don't know what kind of things. So I'm like getting killed trying to go up there. Immediately I'm dying, and I'm like, all right. So
I love that though. I think and like the strategy guide kind of cements this idea even further, like the significance of these. They're almost like, I don't know what the right word would be, but like it forces you to go on these tours, the Golden Key tour that we're going to do here. We're going to talk about in a minute. It forces you to just go revisit these areas that you hadn't been. And like, yes, I am thoroughly canvassing these areas for the purposes of a podcast. But as we've similarly discussed on the same topic, like when you play this game, normally shit just flies by. You don't, not everything comes back to you. So these incentivize you to, at later points in the game, be like, you know what? Let me go back and take stock in everywhere I've been and really think about maybe what I've learned. Or even if you don't approach it that way, like you will implement what you have learned when you go back to these places and be reminded of things. Have, God forbid, someone actually changes their dialogue. Maybe there's just so many reasons that forcing you into these revisitation fucking tours that these keys I think are catalysts for. I really like it, and I like that they saw, because Dragon Warrior 1 only has the one, but it does have it, and I like that they saw that in the first one and decided, let's do more of that. That's a good thing. I think it was a good design choice that I appreciate.
For sure.
There is plenty of townsfolk chatter to be had here, so let's get into that. A number of damsels are patrolling the area near where you enter town, so let's just blow through all their dialogue. Thou hast come to Zahan at a poor time. All the men are away fishing at sea. Yes, I am Torval's wife, but just between us, he loves his dogs more than me. And it sounds like there might be some opportunity to play homewrecker here, should the boys be feeling froggy.
Right? What is going on? Why
Yeah.
are all the men gone? Okay.
Many are the tales of a mountainous island in the sea and its great cavern. It is said that only one who bears the moon fragment may enter there. When the moon fragment is held upon high, the tide will rise and the seagulls cry. More fucking soliloquies. That sounds like a quest objective.
Yeah, sounds like information, though, even though it is rhyming.
Yep, for sure. And there's another one that says, O Formio, where art thou, my Formio? Which is obviously a little Shakespeare in play there. I think she's the one that happened to be wandering outside, the one that I was talking about, that was wandering a little outside the fucking... Or no, there's another
she's
one.
inside.
Yeah, she's inside, yeah. But there is one who is outside, and she says, I have come seeking... One of them can wander outside of the goddamn walls, and seeing her out there, which is one of these girls, leads you or lets you know that yes, you can walk out there. And if you go up there, there is a barbarian in the northwest corner that says, "I have come seeking a thief by the name of Roge Fastfinger," which is again another mention of him. There's also a couple of unattended and untethered kids running around. The one says, that mutt yonder keeps pulling my sleeve, and the other says, one day I will be a great fisherman like Papa. So they keep talking about this dog, so don't not talk to the dog. But there's a couple, or rather an old man by the inn says, this is a town of lonely women, old men, and children. What the men want of those stinking fish is beyond me, and... considering you live on this island in the middle of nowhere, homeboy,
right.
They probably just don't want to starve to death. Is probably what they're thinking by being out fucking with those fish.
It's like that joke online that's like, when you're applying to places, like, what made you want to apply here? And it's like, I'm just really passionate about not starving to death.
Right.
So sorry, dude.
Yep. A merchant inside of the inn says, thou hast heard of the sinking of the Relentless. Some say that the pirate simply left the plug out. Fools. So he's talking shit about the pirates, has no valuable commentary, but I think it is, again, another one of those just, hey, about that thing, you need to go get that. Go get that.
Go.
Yep. So the girl standing watch at the barrier tile says, I warn thee to go back. This wizard's house may be thy ruin. And she must not know I'm rolling with step guard. But did you use step guard when you went and checked these out?
I absolutely did not.
You just did a healing dance?
No, I just died. Yeah, I just healing danced and ended up dying through it.
Step guard makes these not hurt you. But
I forgot. I'm like, do I have step guard? I forgot about that.
You definitely do by now, for sure. Yeah. So fun fact about step guard, Jay, since you've never used it, step guard dissipates the second you step off barrier tiles. So you have to cast it again to cross back over after not opening these jail doors because you have no jailer's key yet. So you have to use the stealth spell twice, going both ways.
Numo has it. Okay. All right.
Annoyed me even more, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did not.
So the dog the kid was bitching about will bark as soon as you get near it. You don't even have to talk to it, which I think is interesting. And then it will run over to a nearby bush. And if you've ever played a JRPG, you bust out your trusty search command immediately after seeing this. And doing that here scores you the golden key. And this key quest conclusion, it feels force-fed and bad to me, if I'm being honest. Like, having the key feels good, but I kind of hated, again, how it just was like, just like drags you to it.
It literally drags you to it.
I don't know, man. We've been playing this for hours and hours and kind of like with kind of just, I don't know. It didn't feel straightforward to me. Like, yes, like I knew, of course, like I'm going to try to talk to every dog that I see. I'm going to search, like, obviously where the dog points. But to me, that's just like following the design. Like, I don't know. There's a fine balance between like figuring things out and just like bang your head against the wall. And
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was okay to me. I have no issue with this.
The line gets finer the further you go back in the timeline, I think, of these types of games, for sure. But, yeah, I agree. So there's a tool shop with the same old shit and an inn for 30 gold ahead. Not exactly a bastion of capitalism here in Zahan. So now that we have that key in our pouch, let's go on our golden key tour. So you said you did not? You only did the beginnings of this, Jay?
Yeah, because I got the crest and then stopped, so I didn't.
It kind of makes me sad because there's something in here that's, I think, like I said, I think you would have, if you'd have stuck with it, I think you're going to get more satisfaction out of me telling you right now, for sure, having done it, but...
Well, it figures. I mean, I just got to Welgarth, so I'm like, okay, I'm finally here.
Yeah, it's funny you said that one, too, because that's not, that's not on the tour, in my opinion. You're not revisiting there.
Well, not revisiting, though, but it's one of those places that it's like, oh, this place has gold keys. I'm like, all right, do I need to go there first?
So I conducted mine going counterclockwise from Zahn. That seemed the way to basically go back through kind of the way we played the game. And I like patterns because I'm a psychopath. So so I went back to Maidenhall and to Osterfair first. And then so you can do that armor shop shit. And if you go back there, the merchant does respond to it, which I like that he acknowledges the fact that you're back there. He says, "Do not enter this place." It's like, fuck off.
Nah,
What the fuck are you gonna do? So the armor Gaia is in the one chest, and a magic knife is in the other. And I wish the weapon and armor dudes bought shit because I would love to sell him back his own shitty knife.
Here you go. Yeah. I tried to do that, and I was that's when I started throwing stuff away when I realized, oh, I can't sell this to you. Like I can't. Darn it.
Yeah, you gotta go to tool shops. Yeah, they don't have a tool shop here either. So
yeah, Jay, did you allude to you don't know where to sell things?
Yeah, but it's okay. So this alludes to my uber point about this game. I feel like I need to play it. I can't take bigger breaks because I forgot. Yeah, I knew that we sold stuff earlier, but I completely forgot. Yeah, you could do that in certain places. So I was just been chucking stuff.
It's the perfect. I mean, we've said it before, but like, that's the tough thing about these, man. Is like, you don't have a quest log. There's no, you take a break, you pick it back up, and you're like, I don't know, man. What the fuck?
I forgot about this thing that was always in the top of my mind when I was playing before. That I've just completely forgot.
The notes are critical. So the armor is tank only, and a +10 come up over the full plate get up. And the barbarian that was looking for it does not have new dialogue once you have his pursuit in hand, sadly. I was kind of hoping he'd be like, oh, fuck.
Right over that counter.
Shit. I could have easily just smashed that guy's head with my club and taken that the whole time.
Imagine that. All right.
Yeah, so the whirlpool that's back there takes you to the monolith south of Maidenhall. Yeah, so Jay, it sounds like you already knew that, but there's nothing new there, and I don't want to not have my ship. So this portal was useless to me, finding this or figuring out it.
Oh, yeah, I don't use those portals. Like, Jay was like, oh, I got in like during the portal. I'm like, nah, man, I need to have my ship.
Yeah. Well, I've learned that now. Now it's like, if I go in the portal, I'm going exactly retracing my steps to get back into my ship.
Yeah, and that can be like a little confusing, so... Yeah, I'm just rolling with the ship.
Once you have the ship, yes. Like I said, the one that really was useful for me was finding Baran via portal and being able to get that equipment and visit there before we had the ship to get down there, So they do have purpose early game in particular. But yeah, it's counterproductive to not have your ship for sure. So on to Maidenhall by ship, not whirlpool, where the long-awaited treasury heist is on deck, and there's a guard in here, and he's fucking flipping out about this. He says, "Thief, thief, what? Thou art Todd, heir of Maidenhall. Please forgive me."
Oh, I went to Maidenhall. This is funny now. I forgot about this, but famously not a lot of opportunities to roleplay in these role-playing games. So I went to Maidenhall and opened that gate and talked to the dude, and he said that, and I was like, actually, I'm not going to loot the treasury.
Okay.
I'm not that kind of guy.
Well,
no need.
That is a very unfortunate decision, because this is a pretty significant treasury here.
What's in it?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about these chests? Because I didn't open them.
There's 100 gold.
Oh, wow.
That's
better
useless.
hang on tight.
Yeah, medical herb. Hope you have room in your inventory for that. A wing of wyvern. There's an empty chest, and then the token of Erdrick, and this is what makes me sad.
Oh, shit.
You didn't have this discovery, Jay, because this is...
Oh, I had this discovery because this was the only place, this was the first place I went, was Maidenhall.
Oh, I thought you... Oh, so, yeah, okay, yeah, it does. Jesus, okay, yeah.
So,
okay.
we got to talk about this, because this has been driving me fucking nuts all the time. Every time I keep going to the holy... like monolith.
It's the monolith. It's the monolith in Alfgard. Yeah.
Yeah. I keep thinking I have like what
after you get the shield. After you get the. Yeah,
I'm like, what the hell are you looking for? And it dawned on me when I went back to my notes. I'm like, what the hell is he looking for? Like after I got this and it said token of Erdrick, and I was like, I wonder if this will work. But then when I look back at my notes, I'm like, he said the token. I'm going to get my fucking thing. Let's go finally.
No, he doesn't say token. Does he?
He does. Because I didn't capitalize it, and I thought it was just like. Not significant, more of just like, hey, a token of Erdrick.
Right, yeah.
But like, because he said it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I picked this up, and yeah, I was immediately like, just racking my mind, like, where the fuck was that? Which dude was that?
I just know I can get to him from the fire monolith. So I was like, we're going beeline.
Yeah.
So satisfying.
Okay, that's good. I told you it'd be satisfying. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you had that experience. Yeah. So Canuck has one room in the dead center with a wise man in a chest, and he says, well, don't just stand there, open the treasure chest. And I fucking love that. They're kind of, essentially breaking the fourth wall. Not really, but kind of breaking the fourth wall there. And inside of that is the shield of Erdrick, and that is a very pleasing thing to read indeed. He's correct about that, and it's a plus 10 over the steel shield for our tank. So yes, please on that. And then Hamlin had the island in the northwest corner with the old man and his bonfire. And there's a couple gremlin sprites locked in a cell below ground in the passage over there. Like when you go down below ground, it's all there's water all around the space that you can walk in, and there's a cell with two of those dudes in it. Mm-hmm. It's jailer key, though, of course. And the old man on the island says, there is a legend that tells of a great and good wizard who lives in a cave in the sea. If thou hast the 5 crests, he will come to thee. So fucking, I didn't even notice how much they were rhyming when I was writing these down.
Kicking rhymes.
Rhyming all the time.
The crest shit, what they mean and are needed for is becoming clearer to us, and that is good. Alfgard is next, and starting with that monolith in the southeast peninsula, and you go in here, you talk to this dude, and he says, I have been waiting for thee to come. I will trade the helmet of Erdrick for the token thou carries. So Todd really starting to get his Erdrick drip on. A plus 14 over the peasant iron helmet that he had been rocking, so that's a nice thing. So yes. Yeah, pretty much, if you want to roll with all Erdrick stuff, you can now.
I actually need to do that, and I said it was my roleplay, and my nobility has prevented me from doing all that shit.
Yeah. See? Always better to do the self-serving thing. Two doors in Tantagel, and the first leads to a sewing shop. And they say in here, this is the sewing shop, true, but I do not have the dues yarn. Dost thou seek the dues yarn too? If you say no, says stop again if thou art near. And I don't even know what that means. I guess maybe that they may have found the dues yarn by then, and I'll have more to talk about, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe they found it. Yeah,
right. So if you say yes, I think it's a she, says, alas, I have no more of the dues yarn, but I know where thou mayst seek some, for it is a substance made of wind and water, and it drifts aloft until it lands on the 3rd floor in the north tower of the Dragon's Horn. And how fucking insane of a thing is this to say, citing a specific floor of some tower where it happens to drift in. So fucking
the Dragon's
Tower. And so it's you'll remember where that is without much. It's not hard to find, although it is interesting.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. But yeah, I cannot fucking jab. I think we already said it on here. But I cannot fucking wait to watch this little water flying clothes side quest. To our side quest play out for Jay.
I don't like your tone again, Josh. Like, what are we talking about?
It's so good. You think you were annoyed today or the other day.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like it a little less when I'm done talking. I think we're gonna have a hard time with that.
I know we're going to.
I'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
Well, you can. No, there is. It can be done. It can be done.
I hope it can be done.
In the past, I have failed. So
I have succeeded. I did this.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's possible. On Nestopia, I did it. I guess I hope I can do it on RetroArch too.
Okay.
And I guess just
why wouldn't you be able to? What do you mean? You hope you be able? Like, what is this talk? Like this? You're not inspiring confidence.
We've already said too much. We've already said too much.
I've actually literally said too much.
Yeah, we've said too much. We need to stop immediately. God damn it.
Little too much.
I quit. I'm gone.
You should have quit a long time ago.
Yeah. The second door is where the king is cowering in his hovel above the weapon armor shop. He says, thou has come even here to the simple room. I cannot help thee. My hope fled long ago. And I feel you, my dude. I feel you. I think Jay over here is also teetering. Charlock has a barrier tile gate-kept treasury on the bottom floor, Dragon Lord III's swinger den, and it has 159 gold, wing of wyvern, a lottery ticket, and a medical herb, a.k.a. fuck me for coming all the way down here. It's a complete waste of fucking time.
Yeah, hard pass on Charlock, sorry.
Yeah, it's a total fucking waste of time. I was fucking pissed about that.
Place used to be way more important like 100 years ago.
Yeah. I went and grabbed that Douze yarn since it was just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the towers. And yes, so it's going to be a little bit of a spoiler for Jay, I guess. But the third floor of the North Tower has no openings to the outside, and there's nothing visual whatsoever to suggest there's anything to be found on it. And I'll just save you the time, Jay, because again, there's no, it's total video game bullshit. It's on the third tile. Like if you were to, if you come in here and you're like, what the fuck? And you're like, well, I guess I just got to systematically check every tile. If you do that, it'll be the third one that most human brains will search on, and it's the third tile from the top row, third tile from the left, and fucking that's, I don't know. Again, there's no fucking windows, there's no nothing, there's no way that this could happen in any way, shape, or form. I guess it could fly in the window on the 5th floor or whatever it is, and float down through the stairwells is a possibility. But the idea that this woman in the sewing shop knows that and can cite it reliably, and that she goes there routinely to obtain it. She's just got to do the errand. It's crazy as fuck to me. It's really, really crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, case in point, Jab. I took this back to the sewing shop expecting something to happen, but she doesn't even mention it. She just gives you the same dialogue. So I don't exactly know what to do to even get to the part that is so funny.
Yeah. I didn't get it because I wasn't sure that I could make the operation work, but I'll give it a shot. But yeah, so I haven't done that part.
Yeah, but there's another part that's even beyond the part we're being opaque about, because she didn't change anything when I took that there.
I'm telling you, I don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch Jay try to figure it out.
Well, that's just going to be cruel. I mean, that's
it's fucked up. It's fucked up. And it's I think it's even. I'll save it. But there's a reason that it's even more fucked up, because it's. Yeah, I don't want to say that, but there's a reason.
We can stop more again. That's enough.
Yeah. So then I started scouring the overworld map for an island tower of some kind, and that jarred a memory of having seen one west of Moonbrook. With a lot of fucking just wandering around. So it's referred to as the lighthouse on the pack-in map. 2 words too, lighthouse, not lighthouse. So that is where I went next. This joint is Dead End Central. It's all about dragging through the shit and hoping attrition takes you down. There are mummy men, there's gorgons, there's saber tigers. Hope you love battling them. I wandered around this fucker for probably 45 minutes before I was like, fuck this, and used the pack-in maps.
Yeah, same. I was walking around and I was like, nope.
This is actually tough. This is the last crest that I got, and it was a challenge. Even
me too.
I mean, to the degree that it can be with save states, but yes.
Yep.
I just started running from things. I was just like, I don't care. I'm just going to run from everything until you force me to fight. That was kind of my strategy.
This game's running's not super effective in this game. Not always, and this
I don't know, man. Tough, it's like I would say more often than not I'm able to run. Probably a good 60-40 right now. Yeah.
40% is a lot to get clubbed over the head with not taking a turn.
And these turns are so, like I talked about earlier, man. These turns are so fucking brutal.
Here, having that leaf would be helpful. If I had the leaf coming here, it might have been helpful. I'm pretty sure I died coming here first, and I had to kind of when I came back through the map,
seems
it was better.
Very plausible to me. Yeah, it sucks. Sucks real bad. The route of choice starts with the southwest set of stairs inside the big room on the first floor, and it is a reasonably straight shot up to the 8th floor from there. But yeah, I mean, like, going, when I first come in here, I'm like I know that it's gonna run me around. I don't have like a specific memory of that it does that to me, but I just know that it's going to, because that's how video games work. So like I do the whole wraparound thing, and it's like that's not what you really need to be doing. It sucks. It's just really fucked up, super fucked up. Yeah, you have to pass through a giant golden door on the way. That's a fun sprite.
That door actually, like when I saw it, I was like, whoa! I was like kind of like taken aback by it.
Me too. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot all about that. That's the thing. You go on this. And you see that, and you're like, oh, I must be on the right path. There's no way I'd have that big door taking me nowhere. Yeah, so on the top floor is a soldier looking out of the southern open side of the tower that says, for long ages I have I guarded the chamber of Hargon. There's a land called Rhone, high in the mountains in the middle of a great continent. There thou shalt find Hargon. So, like... Then you got demoted to the lighthouse attendant, man? Like, what do you mean that's what you used to do? And why are you here now then? What the fuck?
Maybe
How
it's a retirement job.
I guess I don't. Yeah, but this does not seem like. I guess
maybe he's older, so he's just like I can't even. I know what to do. I can't do it. So I'm
jump off the fucking the tower.
He might have a cloak of wind though. He's tried to do it and he just floats to the bottom. He's like, fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. That sucks. This seems like a shit retirement job. Even I don't know. At least the dragons. What is it? Which tower was the Dragon's Horde Tower?
Yeah, I think. Oh no. Where do you get the cloak of wind? Tower of Wind.
Yes. Right. That one's at least that's on like.
On the mainland. It's like near things.
Yeah. At least, you could at least get a fucking coffee if you wanted or something.
Right. It's near a Starbucks, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I'm here. So I'm up here, and I'm like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to come. This is all I find. This fucking dude. And the flute. You use the flute here, and it seems like it echoes to me, anyways. But I did it multiple times and got no new tattoo. So I'm just like, fuck it. I go over to Mike's RPG Center because I'm like, what the fuck's going on here, man?
Time for this shit.
Yeah, there's a stairway up outside. So on your way to that first door, the door that we're talking about, the one that's behind me, there's a stairwell up that sends you on a track up to a different part of the 7th floor. It's not the 8th, but the 7th. And this is pretty cool, actually. I'll give it to it. So you come out on the 7th floor, and you get out into the open part, and you see a gremlin sprite, and it just dashes off into the room south of him, right? So you're going to follow that.
Yep. And
inside that room is an old man, and he says, "Thou need not speak, for I know thy mind well. Come, follow me. I will guide thee to the place." ... And that's all I got before the text blipped off the screen and he puttered away. He says,
it goes away before I could even finish reading it.
Right. Yeah. So
bottom line, follow him.
Yeah. Right. That's all you need to know. But yeah, that did. I think it was this game, wasn't it? Where Jay bitched about that. And I was like, no, it stays on the screen too. Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah. So you then follow his ass all the way down to the 2nd floor. So again, just attrition to the max, man. Falling down stairwells and shit. Where he tells you to open a chest he stops in front of. When you do that, he speaks again. He says, "Ha ha! Into my trap thou hast stepped. It shall be thy last." And then 3 gremlin sprites appear surrounding you, like the corners around you. And then you're in a battle against 4 of these pricks. And I vape these motherfuckers in 2.3333 repeating turns. They're gremlins. It kind of sucks, actually, that like these are, I guess it's interesting that they're like it's the things from the castle. They're like the specific demons or specific fucking minions of Hargon. That in one aspect that's cool, but in another that it doesn't scale at all. the difficulty of these as you're progressing through the game is kind of stupid, I think,
Yeah, they have so many other classes of enemies, like, just give me Gremlin Part 2.
Exactly right. Just change the fucking palette swap and give me a fucking up the numbers,
Right.
just to make them different.
I hear you, but I also know that the gremlins killed PETA on my squad, so clearly it wasn't as light of a fight for me.
Okay. Well, they do have the fire, and it's kind of a little bit of luck of the draw with any of those Infernos multi-fire attack enemies. That's what we're talking about, those lizard fucking flies or whatever, dragonflies, same thing. Like, you can either vape them really quickly, or if they catch you with the right attack set and the right order, if it falls the wrong way, the shit can go sideways fast. So, I mean, yeah, for sure. But generally speaking, I think there should be some difference, when as you're progressing the game, you should see a difference with these, again, the minions of Hargon specifically. But so you kill him, and then it says, "Thou hast found the Star's Crest." And then I plunked my ass right down off the side of the tower and to the overworld map, which is pretty supple that you can do that. You don't have to...
Yeah, so I wanted to check in with you guys and see if you did that. Did you also do that, Jay?
Of course. My first thought the minute I got the Star's Crest, because of how long it took to get there, and like following the old man and all that, I was like, how do I get out of here? I was like, the side.
Yeah.
I checked to make sure I still had the why on earth would I not have it or equipped?
Yeah.
But yeah, just jump fucking right out.
Immediately.
Pretty fun. So yeah, so unless it's working everywhere in the tower, is what's happening here. The flute plays no role in this part of our quest whatsoever, is kind of my big thing about this.
I forgot about it, and I kept using it as well in random places. Like, all right, well, I'm not at the place clearly for this.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of,
I just got it, so it's got to be a later game thing, is my guess.
It's supposed to be. This is the tower. I think. I mean, yeah, I guess maybe. Am I wrong about that? I mean, that's what he's talking about.
That's what I thought it was about. I haven't tried to do this yet.
I didn't think he was talking about this tower.
What the fuck does he? What's the soliloquy again?
Hold on.
Tower remote. It's on an island. It's a tower on an island remote. I mean, that's got to be it. I guess it's not remote, but there's no other towers, man.
It's not really remote. Yeah, it's.
I mean, well, we just said it sucks to be retired there because you can't get a Starbucks. So it is kind of remote, comparative to the other towers.
So I was wondering if that was the moon tower, but I guess we get the moon fragment there.
The moon. That's not the moon tower, though. It's the moon cave, not a moon tower.
No, but there's a tower south of Tun, which is on an island that I can't get to. That we can't get to yet. So that's why I'm like, maybe that's the tower.
Okay.
Because we can't get to that at all either.
Okay. I don't even know where Tun's at, so that's possible. Well, if there is any uncertainty with it, then okay and good, actually, because that is how it should be, I suppose. Is that you're trying, they tell you this thing and you're misinterpreting it and you're using it the wrong way, and then okay, we find out later that maybe it does. So hopefully you're right, but if not, then yeah, it's fucking stupid because it doesn't do anything there. And and that's the thing too. I'm not. I guess I need to. It's an auditor. There's no way to. I guess I could, if I really wanted to be thorough, I could get out my phone, I could record it while I play it, and then go outside and see if it's the same exact tune. I did not go to that length to check whether it was echoing, but it seems like it's echoing to me when you use it. It's like it plays the song, and it sounds like it changes just a little bit and plays it back a beat later, So I don't know. It's hard to be sure whether or not I'm hearing an echo on fucking the NES sound chip.
Yeah, it seems ripe for not working correctly. Just
right.
A mechanic that doesn't work. It's going to drive me crazy.
Bestiary Annals. Jab, what's your first one?
My first one is Gorgon. Okay, moving on. Sorry, I'm still pulling it up. Okay, so you find these at sea, which is actually just a brief look into Tales of the Grind. You can make some money at sea.
You can. Are Gorgons at sea or Medusa balls?
Oh, it's Medusa balls. Never mind.
Yeah, Medusa
you're
balls
right. Yeah.
Medusa balls are the purple ones. The green ones are the Gorgons.
Correct. Yeah.
But they are the same thing, though, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're like a Medusa. There's like a ball with an eye in the center, and like snakes' heads coming all out. It's actually it's a great sprite. So it says here that it's got 26 HP, which is very manageable. Even Prince of Cannock can kill that with a Iron Spear. Does not have a listing for MP, just question mark. Attack 30, defense 120, which I don't remember it actually. Defense is probably a broken mechanic in this game. Agility 30, you get 50 experience and 30 gold for killing one.
Word. Jay, what do you got for us first up?
First up is the Gold Orc.
That's a classic one. I didn't pick that because I knew Josh would.
Well, I don't know. There's something special about it. Like, it's gold all of a sudden you see it. Like, it has this crazy sprite that pops up. And, I think I encountered it in the lighthouse when stuff was going awry, shall we say, at first. But yeah, it's has 87 HP, no magic, does 80 attack, has 56 defense.
They hit like trucks, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. 57 agility. You get 83 XP and 255 gold for defeating this bad
So much gold, yeah, that's a huge comp. So yeah, I did, they were my first one too, and it wasn't for this episode, but I did so much grinding on these homeboys.
Oh yeah.
For the last episode, I just had to pay my respects. That's why I chose them. Yeah, they're outside Baran, and I fucking just trucked a bunch of those, shit ton of those, and they do enough damage where you're only going through a couple of these fights, of them before you have to head back to the end. Especially when I was grinding on them,
yeah.
Probably I don't know what my fucking slash numbers were, but it was fucking. I was probably like low to mid teens, and they were wrecking my ass, but they gave you so much gold it was worth it.
Yeah, that's. I haven't found a better gold mining operation yet, except for maybe Man of Wars. But you got to get like a good group of them, and if you get a sea slug and they put you to sleep, then the whole fight can take a long time. So, they're great for mining.
Yeah, and they get paired with the smokes too, and you can just vape smokes.
Yeah, well, that gives the princess something to do because Infernos typically takes them out, though sometimes they will resist.
Mm-hmm. All correct. Well, we're going to snake draft this since you guys took mine. We're going to go Metal Slimes with my first one, and I don't think I need to state a reason. For those.
Yeah.
Classic enemy.
Yep. And even though the functionality is changed a hair for this particular installment of the game from the first one, they are still significant. And yes, you get those packs of 8 of them by Osterfair, and I think maybe elsewhere as well. But you can fucking, even with them running and hitting you with a fire spell and then running, you can still take down 1, 2, maybe even 3 of them out of an 8 or a party of 8, and that is a huge come up. Their HP is a paltry 6. Their MP is 30. Their attack is pretty low, but their defense is 180. Fucking insane, yeah.
Obviously defense is not. I said defense is probably a broken mechanic sarcastically, but obviously it's not because metal slimes exist.
Right. And their agility is 100, so they can run from your ass very easily too. So very elevated mechanics. Yeah, that is like, if you think about the physics of that, the fact that these are of a metallurgy makeup and have that high of agility and can run from you and are the body type they are is very interesting.
It's magical.
yeah, very interesting. It has
magical
to be magical
little creatures.
Sure. I'm starting to think that Josh hasn't seen Terminator 2. Because metal runs really fast in that movie.
That's true. If you use that as your basis, your reality basis, then yeah, that is true. Fair point. Experience. I definitely saw that at a drive-in. I think maybe with you.
The only thing I remember, this is actually, I can't believe that this just popped into my head. The only thing I remember about a drive-in with you is that me, you, and my mom were driving back, apparently from out east, because there's a drive-in theater in North Ridgeville.
Yep. That
Not decommissioned. It still fucking works. I mean, me and Hannah used to go there all the time, and it's still there. Frank lives right down the road from it, and it still shows movies. It's my favorite theater, honestly. It's decent price to get in, but like all the concessions are like a piece of pizza for like $3, French fries for like $2. It's unbelievable. You get a feast there and like actually enjoy yourself.
Drive-ins are so cool. They don't really have those here.
They don't really have them much. I mean, this is one of the only ones in the country, if I'm not mistaken. So that's cool.
Wild. It's such an appealing thing, you know?
Yeah, especially like, and then COVID happened. It's like, why did we ever stop doing this?
Yeah.
But yeah, we were driving back from apparently somewhere out east, and we saw this big thing, and we begged my mom to pull over, and like she like pulled over, which is unbelievably dangerous. She pulled over on the side of the highway, and like we just like tuned radio until we found something. It was like real sketchy, like, but like we sat and watched some movie for a second.
Really? That's so cool, and I have no memory of that at all.
I don't remember anything about it, like how old we were or where we were coming from or what movie, but like I know that the action happened.
How cool that she was willing to do that.
Yeah, she was pretty cool, actually.
That's definitely something to be like, what? Fuck off.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, like why the fuck?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I had four parents, and she was one of the better ones, so.
Well, they give you, the reason they're so appealing is they give you 135 gold, experience if you kill them, and then 90 gold. And yeah, as far as abilities, they have Sizzle. They can shoot the fire shit at you, and they also have a snooze spell. So, and they are resistant to everything. They're 7 out of 7 for fire, dazzle, snooze, thwack, and fizzle resistance. So, and KSAP, whatever the hell that is. I don't even know what that is.
The fuck is thwack?
It's probably some sort of, here, let's click on it and find out. Thwack is an instant death spell that targets a whole group of enemies. That is a hilarious name for
Thwack.
Yeah. What's KSAP here? Let's see. It's a reoccurring spell. Unlike SAP, it reduces the defense of enemies instead of just one. So. Interesting. Dazzle and snooze and fire and fizzle are all pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my first. How do we snake draft it? Jay, you would be next.
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
Really? Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
I went first, yeah.
Next will be Hiba Bango.
What the fuck is that?
I called it a habango.
Well, yeah, it's definitely Hiba Bango, but yeah,
I
it's
can't read.
there's definitely two B's up in there.
It's definitely fuck you, Jab.
I'm a STEM major. It's not requisite for me to know how to read.
Yeah, I mean it's like a pink giant baboon. And yeah, I ran across this and immediately was like, "Whoa, what is this thing?" It is.
I don't think I bumped into a single one of these yet.
That's crazy. That's crazy talk. I did immediately. I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, they're all over.
Yeah, 60 HP, infinite magic points.
Wow.
So this immediately stops spelling this bad boy just off rip. Yeah, a 74 attack as well, 29 defense. So that's a little lower. 52 agility, and you get 81 XP and 83 gold for defeating it.
Not a bad deal.
Yeah.
Sometimes drops chainmail. 1/8 of the time. 12.5% of the time they drop chainmail.
Just fucking one more thing to have to throw away.
Right, at this point.
Chainmail's worth a little bit of money. It's probably, what is it? That costs probably fucking 4
I think
or
it's like
500.
480.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, that sounds right.
Something like that.
So 240 is not nothing.
Yeah.
It's one quarter, 25% of 5%, or a little less than 5%. 25% of 4% of a shield of strength, Jab. You should be looking at it a little more optimistically.
Okay. My thing is undead. This is a cool little skeleton sprite with a shield. And they have like armor and a helmet, and the shields or the swords raised in the air. I just really like the imagery of this is like Final Fantasy, for instance, had like some bad looking skeletons, but this is a really good looking sprite, and I like the imagery that it conjures up. So I encountered them in the lighthouse, and they're not a pushover, but they have 65 hit points, no magic points, 63 attack, 17 defense, 33 agility, and for all your trouble, you get 45 experience and 40 gold. I'm told that they drop a tombola ticket. I'm assuming that's a lottery ticket. 1/16 of the time.
Yeah, this was my third one, so you fucking took that too. But I loved that I kept seeing these all by their lonesome in the lighthouse and thinking to myself every time I saw them, here come the undead hordes again, but there's no horde. It's just
one
the one.
lonely skeleton. Got separated from the horde.
Right.
An opportunity to use your shield of strength there. If you're...
I didn't get it until after the tower, I think.
Do you think that was wise?
In hindsight, apparently not. Although, yeah, they didn't. They weren't terribly imposing, especially only finding one of them.
No, that's my point, though, is like, you can take a minute to use the thing and not have to worry about the Prince of Cannot getting shot in on somebody somewhere.
That's true. Well, I don't have any more to talk about because you guys took them all, so go ahead.
Well, you can pick another one. Anyways, it's my turn still, so shut up. So my third and final one is the Saber Lion. Really, really good sprite. It's pink. It looks like Pink Panther.
Yeah,
It does.
Agreed.
But like way meaner. I like this actually. There's something in there. So yeah, it's got the looks like a saber tiger. Or saber. What do we call those on Earth actually? Saber-toothed tiger.
Saber-toothed tiger, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a saber-toothed tiger, but it's like in the about to pounce on you and fuck your day up position. It's pink, like the aforementioned Pink Panther. 80 hit points, 0 magic points, as you might imagine. 95 attack, 76 defense, 71 agility, so this is a physical specimen. And 81 experience and 55 gold for your trouble. Drops an iron spear. I'll roleplay that as like you strap the fucking
Fangs.
tooth to the end of a stick, and then there you go.
Yeah, I actually wanted. So their attack was 95. You said.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I meant to look up the disparity between the Saber Lion and the Saber Tiger to see how much more imposing that king's test of strength was.
Saber. What was it? Lion or tiger?
Yeah, I got it here. So it's 70 attack for the saber cat, for the saber tiger, so a 25-point difference on attack, I guess.
So considerable. The king spared much like John Hammond, he spared no expense in getting the best animals.
Yeah. Word. Jay, right. What's your third and final?
My third and final is the Evil Tree.
Good one.
So
they're cool sprites.
Evil Tree, definitely. I mean, looks like what it sounds like. It has 51 HP.
And this is the tier 2 one, right? Not the original. You did,
yeah,
because you did the original one last time, so
yeah.
That's really nice, yeah.
Well, it's cool, yeah. It reminds me. It's a sprite that I feel like I've seen in multiple different games, like altered. So it, like, I don't know, I like it. It also looks like if you've ever played Just Dance, there's like a couple horror songs and there's like a big tree costume that looks just like this sprite. So like every time I see this, I think of like Just Dance movements and things like that. So yeah, I guess it's like imprinted in my brain. But yeah, it has 51 hit points, no magic, 58 attack, 19 defense, so not terribly difficult, 30 agility, and you get 50 XP and 80 gold for beating it.
Okay. Well, that was fun. Let's talk. Let's talk Tales of the Grind now. So, random happening before we get into this. So, we talked semi-extensively last episode about the Mana Wars, Jab, and about them causing how they stunned you or whatever, and they actually cause fainting.
Yeah.
We were unsure whether there was paralysis in this game, and assumed that these cause sleep, but they do cause you to faint. So I think that is the form of paralysis. And sure, fainting is sleeping, but the game does differentiate it, at least in text, even if the underlying math is the same. So I thought that worth mentioning. And then the other thing that was just a random thing was Inns charge for all 3 bodies, even if one of them is drug in as a cold, dead cadaver.
Airbnb, man.
No, it's a head count. It's a head count whether it's his fucking animated head or not.
Right. Fuck off. I don't want it. You said 3, it's 3. Also, if you don't pick up that fucking crumb, that's $250 cleaning fee.
Great. Okay, so maybe Jay, tell us about your grind first.
There was no grind. I did not grind a single bit.
It's funny.
To the last episode.
Neither did I. The game was enough of a grind.
Right? It kind of was like between like kind of going through the lighthouse and kind of having to come back through there and like all over the map. Like there wasn't a grind. Like now, next episode there will certainly be a grind because of all the stuff that I need to buy and the fact that I have no gold left. But as of right now, yeah.
So what did you finish up your ratio at?
What do you mean by ratio?
Your level ratio.
So Gentleman's at 20. Numo's at 19 and Pete is at 14.
Word. Jab, how about your grind?
I don't think I grinded a whole lot myself. The last time I remember grinding, I guess it probably was for this. I grinded outside of Baran, looking for essentially gold orcs. Then I moved to the sea because the gold orcs are kind of putting it on me a little bit. So to sea, trying to get the mana wars like we talked about. Sea slugs giving me a pain in the ass. I did notice one thing. I guess there's nowhere else to plug this necessarily, maybe until a later episode, but I did notice that this game does something a little different than other RPGs of the same era when it comes to sea travel. There's actually different regions of the sea that have different enemies, and their difficulty varies fairly considerably.
True.
So, appreciated there. I'm sure we'll talk about it in the future.
Yep, that is something we genuinely bitched about that, I think, in Final Fantasy, and that is a valid gripe, is that, it's the sharks, sea hags, odd eyes everywhere in the same
thing.
Denominations, yeah.
Right. So, not the case here. I guess they heard our complaints and made the requisite changes.
And Ultima is definitely just those fucking sea brontosaurus everywhere.
Ultima can suck my dick.
Yeah.
Where did I end? My computer's over there. I got 2 run right now. I'm not gonna get a third. That's fucking ridiculous. I think I ended very much like Jay. I think I'm 20, 18, and either 13 or 14 for my princess. So, yeah, I did grind enough to get the Shield of Strength. I don't even really remember doing it. I don't know how. I was in bed and then I just looked up and I had like 20,000 gold. I was like, oh, you're a few off of this. So I did grind enough gold to get that, and I don't know. I'm not this. So I happened to stop and talk to somebody where you can record your deeds in the Imperial Scrolls of Honor, as it were. Ding, and you. I stopped and talked to this guy just because I didn't know who he was. I just talked to him, and he was like, oh, you can save here, and by the way, here's how much experience you need to level up, and it was so much. Like, I had been fighting it had been a while since I leveled up, and it was like 5,000, 5,000, and like 3,000 or something. And it occurred to me then, I was like, oh, I might be trying to beat the game around these levels. And I read somewhere online that there's suspicion, or it might even be confirmed, that the end game of this game was not actually play tested, and that's why the game is so difficult. That's why it's known as being really difficult. So I don't know how much more I'm going to be grinding necessarily, though I want to give my fans an update. I'm unemployed again. I quit my job, so I might be able to put a little bit more time into leveling up. You'll actually probably be able to track that on the charts, like you can see where Jeff was employed and then when he was unemployed. Yeah, uptick in leveling.
Yeah, I'll do 2 concurrent line graphs on one specific jab RPG output calculation where we can see the correlations between employment and unemployment to level increases.
Yeah, you'll definitely see some interesting data there. And my research project is finished, so I don't have really anything to do except for schoolwork right now. So, and I put a forbearance on my mortgage, so like I'm fucking good to go, dude. I'm ready to play Dragon Warrior.
Okay, well you should download Demio then, dickhead.
Which is it? You get one or the other, you asshole.
Demio, definitely.
So yeah, that was my grind.
You didn't answer. You said I got to choose.
I ignored you purposely.
And I just choosed.
You were ignored. I don't understand.
So, yeah, I did no dedicated grind either. I had plenty of fights on all the fetch questing I did for this damn episode, and I wrapped up at a 21-19-15 ratio. So, yeah, we got a couple spells that happened in this, but they're certainly slowing down a little bit relative to the previous couple of episodes. The POC gets Firebane at level 18. And Firebane is described as all enemies. This is the strongest of the fire spells. It is said that the one who chants this spell calls the thunderclouds over himself, herself. Bolts of lightning strike forth from this character's fingertips. Quite often the enemies are defeated one after another. And I still don't think I've used this, so I have no comment at this time, but I will circle back once I form an opinion. I'm sure it's great.
Can confirm.
Okay, great. And the POM gets Heal All at 15, and Heal All is described as, this is the strongest form of heal. This spell will restore all of the HP to a character, which is obviously quite useful. The first heal isn't quite obsolete yet, but it's getting pretty close to that. 30 HP as a, you don't really need to, it's not really important. Unless you're kind of resorting to it for one reason or another, just to, get yourself
maybe
to
top
full
off or something.
Exactly, top off. That's a good way to put it. Exactly, or before you get into something a little hairier than you'd like. I did notice doing the transferring that copy to my notes from the instruction manual. There's spells after these spells that I don't really think I've ever got before. So, while they may be slowing, there are certainly new still spells to be had. And, the previous Dragon Warrior, the max fire spell, Hurt More, and the max heal spell, Heal More, were the end of the line, So there's a little more development to the spell tree of this game than the last one, too, it seems. So that's cool. And appreciate it, I guess, if I ever get them.
Yeah, so it's like these levels are fucking hard to come by now, dude.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's more fetch quests that will drag us down in an unsought-after grind, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember fucking... Like I said, I remembered this part of the playthrough well enough that I didn't really need any help, but I actually don't really know what comes next.
I remember, and I could have sworn it was a Star Crest, but that's clearly not the case. At least I don't think so. I guess there's really no way to know that. Not having the save file anymore and it being quite some time ago. But I couldn't find one crest, and I wasn't looking shit up. I was being super hardcore about that. So, it may have been, it could have just been the Sun Crest. I couldn't fucking figure out where it was. I don't know. I don't remember which one it was. But, I'm very curious to see whether one of these two last crests is going to be some huge fucking, puzzle impediment that I just can't fucking ram my head up against and cannot figure out, or what's going to happen. That's what I was saying. I was, in the chat, I was like, it's very hard for me to stop, so I'm not fucking oversaturating myself with information before we spit it all out here on a recording, which is how I prefer to do these instead of playing too far ahead. So yeah, I'm curious to see whether I have a dead end in my very near future, or if I'm going to break through to a place I've never been before in my entire life. Into our literature of antiquity for this particular side quest, Unveiled Secrets of Dragon Warrior 2. And so, like I said, I moved to this after I do my play here, and I fucking opened this and I was like, what the fuck? like this is just, the path is just nothing like what I did at all, or even could have done, I feel like. But yeah, they start with Route 24 on page 15, which they think should have been the lighthouse. And level 18 is the recommended grinding work to have under your belt for this. They only dedicate a fifth of the page to it. Okay. And Talk with the Man on the 7th floor or the old man on the 7th floor is the titling here. And I guess I'll read the copy that says, follow the old man and you may discover a treasure chest. Contain your excitement as you open the chest because, alas, it is empty. Brace yourself. Prepare for battle. 4 gremlins have suddenly surrounded you. Defeat them and a great reward awaits you. So again, this is actually, I think that kind of plays into my theory about it not being any sort of tangible thing that catalyzes these crests. The chest is empty. You beat the gremlins and you just get it,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably a testament to my philosophy on those. But that is it for the Lighthouse. And yeah, doing that, the first thing for this fucking episode.
That's what I did. I'm telling you, man. That's why I came here. Pretty much, I kind of stopped after this page kind of coming here. Because I looked at it and I was like, after doing that, I wasn't, first of all, I was not prepared to come and do this first. And I was like, wait a minute, this is a fucking,
That's
like
what
a
I mean,
dungeon,
yeah.
all these floors and stuff. I was like, oh.
No, we do towns, and then we go into the overworld.
Yeah.
The music is all there. It's structured in a way that makes it much easier on me
Yes.
than what this is suggesting.
And then from there to like snaking my way to Ton, which is next here in the strategy guide, I was like, this is insane. I'm done following this guide. Like, especially when I realized I didn't need to go there next. I was like, no, I'm done.
Yeah, I didn't even know this town existed until I opened up the guide to compile notes for this episode. They tell you to bump up to level 20 before heading here, which is smart, I suppose. I'm at 21 now, after everything I did for this episode. You guys are at 20 now. Like, what? What? What the fuck, man? Yeah, I mean, maybe here's the thing. I'm not even sure. Like, maybe I have heard this town's name before because Zahan and Tun, there's, the kind of silent H thing going on there. That, yeah. Oh, no? Okay, so yeah, I can't remember for sure. But yeah, I guess again, that's the thing, though. Even reading it in my notes here as we went through this episode, I might not even have noticed. But yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I could come up with as to why I wouldn't even know this existed yet. And we'll cover it in the next step, I'm sure. But it's just a little wild to me, and it's just a total testament to, this being like we are at a place in the game that is total wild, wild west as far as a lack of direction and not even, I guess, a lack of direction, an intended open world feel or freedom given to the player, that you don't. Like some of these ones we played, Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior 1, Ultima, and I'm sure some others of the time that we haven't quite got, that are on our to be quested list, might have tried to insinuate an open world existing, but they've all been pretty linear in reality. Yeah. And I think this one maybe is kind of turning over a new leaf on that front. Maybe one from the World Tree, perhaps. But it's interesting, but maybe where you're expecting a little more linearity, kind of frustrating too.
Yeah, and also, who put this strategy guide together? Like, who?
Epic, like, fucking Enix.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody came here and said, "All right, now you go to the Lighthouse, then you go." Like, why? Like in the game, like we've just validated through this episode that in the game, from where we went, it's next to the monoliths, like to the southeast. Like we could have skipped all of this, like until now going back.
Right. Well, it could have, but here's the thing. And I didn't engage it, so I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it is. But yeah, there's a major plot point here in Toon, Jab, that I had forgotten about completely, and I was really bummed to have it spoiled, in all honesty, by looking at this. And I even tried, like, once I started to fucking look at it, I tried to look away. Fuck. But you can't.
It's too late. Yeah.
You can't unsee it. Yeah, it's a really fun thing that I would have loved to have just stumbled into, but
I feel like you're too concerned about those things and are really not that important. Like when I look at this, every bit of, and clearly I have not beat this game before, but like every bit of things that I think are important in the game, I'm writing down. And like this, like I already know in the game, like Roge Fastfinger, I gotta freaking find him somewhere. Like I already know, that there's
but you don't. Somewhere. There's no clue as to where he is. You're just hearing about him, and I think that's kind of cool, actually. That it's one of the areas where they don't.
Yeah, but I also came here and he's not here, so it's still like, I came here and still couldn't get to him. So like, to me, nothing is spoiled. Like I'm still following everything and just kind of like.
So did you do all the stuff here?
I came here. There's nothing I could do at this point in here. Like I came and talked to people. Like we don't have a jailer key. Like I did not yet have the golden key, so I haven't come back here yet for that. Like there's nothing, like outside of talking to people. That's why I was so frustrated. Like after making my way here, there's nothing I could really do. Like I got some more plot points, but I'm going to have to come back. Like there's nothing actually here at this point.
Okay. Jab, you want to read the tips?
You will need to retrieve the Watergate key from Rogue Fastfinger. Capture him, and the key is...
I forgot that even existed.
Yeah, same here. I don't... No. You will need to retrieve the Watergate key from Rogue Fastfinger. Capture him, and the key is yours. To obtain the moon fragment, you will need to open the Watergate and follow the river. Waste no time in finding Rogue Fastfinger.
See, like, that shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be told to come here right now.
Yeah, but again, you're still worried about this. Like, I came here, you can't get him. Like, you still got to go someplace else, and they're talking about him elsewhere. So, like,
yeah, but the fact that it tells you, it tells you the fucking moon fragment is here.
Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't mean that it's here. It says...
Yeah, what I'm saying is, though, like, I used this guide. Like, I didn't read everything. I just knew that, like, all right, I got to go to town next. Then I went there, talked to people, and they, through the chatter in the town, they talk about him. But, like, if you're following along at home and following this strategy guide's journey, like, you can't actually get him now. So it's kind of like, all right, I already went there. They already told me. It's not spoiled. You know what I mean? Even if you follow this.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I certainly haven't been here yet.
Yeah, definitely not. There's also a weapon for sale here that I remember being a real big deal for the POC, and I, of course, don't have it. Sad emoji about that.
I'm not entirely sure it's worth it.
Well, the thing is, it has a mechanic.
Yeah.
That doubles that,
Mm-hmm.
So.
I guess I'll probably buy it because what the fuck else am I gonna do?
I mean, it does. You said you're still rolling with the iron spear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sucks.
What are you gonna do? That's fucking all I gets.
So the next one is Bran at Route 26, and they recommend being at level 21 before you head down there.
So necessary.
Yeah, like that is not.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I was there at like 14.
Yeah. I was scared the whole time I was there.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I got my ass kicked a couple times.
That run from the monolith to Baran, I was definitely like, probably might not make this, but fuck it, I'll try it. There's a couple POI captions here that are a little out of the ordinary, I feel, so I'll read those. Why is this woman alone in this building? The barrier tile greeter. Like that's what they say about her. And then the lottery guy is highlighted with the caption, "Isn't the lottery exciting?" Like, what the fuck is that there for? Why? Yeah, it's not the first time you're seeing a lottery. There's just no. I don't see.
I'm ignoring them now.
Like, yeah, I don't even exactly. Yeah,
I haven't had a fucking lottery ticket in a long time. It's kind of bumming me out a little bit.
Yeah, what is up with that either? Yeah, I feel like I haven't either. Come to think of it. But... Jay, want to pop off on the tips here?
Baran has provided you with much information. Now you must devote time to locating the leaf of the world tree. This item, which can be found on a small island in the Eastern Sea, can restore life. Only the weaving master of Tun is able to use the magic loom to weave the water-flying cloth of Dew's yarn. While in Baran...
That's why I didn't know what to do next about that, Jeb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
While in Baran, you may also find the information about the Thunder Sword. Even the Prince of Maidenhall, without knowing the spell, can create thunder with his sword. The King of Osterfair is said to have the Moon Crest. You may find the Sun Crest behind the Fire Monolith. Now it's off to Osterfair. By the way, Josh, this is a strategy guide. Of course they're supposed to tell you things that you're not supposed to get otherwise. Like, what do you mean? Also, second note, I need to come back here.
Well,
because they're talking about stuff.
The order of it, though. Here's the thing. So I'm like, okay, I do the island shoal. I'm now stuck, okay? I come here to the strategy guide, I come here like, okay, do the lighthouse. Like, I don't think so, but okay, fine, I do that. And the next thing being telling you to, like, okay, I get stuck again. Go to Tune? No. That's not what you should be telling me to do. That's what I'm bitching about. Not that there's information in there. Yes, that's the right information for Tune. Sure. But it should be 3 pages later, It shouldn't be. The order is my problem, not the information.
Which is, of course, the entire point of a strategy guide.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Route 27 is the entrance to Welgarth, which is, interestingly, just that, only the entrance above ground. They don't go into the town, so...
I completely forgot about this town. I have been here, and yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I missed it. Yeah, again, and I'm again sailing pretty thoroughly around to look at shit, and like I missed this is existence. So yeah, I didn't. I like went back there and checked it out once I noticed it had a golden key, and I was in here just to see what was going on. Yeah, you can't get below ground to the town because it's locked behind a golden key door. So we'll cover this in depth in the next episode as well. And Route 28 is World Tree Island, and it says, "Look, here's the World Tree Island."
There it is.
And the tips for this read: try selecting the search command at the tree located in the center of the small island. Duh.
Yeah. Right.
Route 29 is the fire monolith, and a picture of the monolith. Their knockoff Todd is standing on the search spot where the Suncrest is. And might the Suncrest be here, is the caption for that.
Clearly, I did not use a strategy guide.
That's a good point. You know, he didn't do it for this.
Yeah, with I like the Don Mahone is sitting there very condescendingly looking on with his arms crossed.
Yeah, he thinks it's a bullshit cheap out.
Yeah,
too.
he's angry.
I told him not to do that.
Yeah. Route 30 is onto Osterfair Castle. Level 22 is the record for that, which the first time I came here, I was like level fucking 13 or something. Not hard to do. You're only dealing with water enemies to get there. I mean, I guess there is some,
There's a few that'll get you on the island.
Yeah, the gargoyles are there, and then obviously those
Hawkmen, I think.
Oh, sorry, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And then there might be the same thing.
There
Either
might
way,
be,
yeah. But also the metal slime parties are there. So yeah, there's a little bit of shit to deal with, but it's not fucking
short jaunt.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a short stretch that it's really not that imposing. So they have a nice, imposing screenshot of the saber line being displayed on a grainy CRT. I love that. They have to blow it up off their shitty Polaroid or whatever they took. Like it's so granular.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I was like, can't just screen grab that.
Yeah. Copy and tips. Jab, please read.
After battling with your might to defeat the foe, it would be wise to go and talk with the king. He will reward your efforts with the moon crest. That's not how that's actually written. He will reward your efforts. The moon crest. Accept this king's offer. It says below his offer to entertain him. Playing the role of Commodus here. Oh, no, wait.
Yeah, I guess that's not supposed to be. It looks like it's the heading to tips, but it's not.
Yeah, it's weird.
Which is bad. Yeah, bad layout.
Yeah, not a great layout. And then the tips. Having collected information about the golden key, the armor of Gaia, and the use of the echoing flute, proceed to Zahan.
Which I did this in the right order at least. So Route 31 takes us to Zahan, where they think level 22 will also suffice to make that short little fucking sail. It's just south of Osterfair.
Yeah.
And some unique text is paired with the enlisting. It reads, "A kind lady will welcome you. Refresh yourself." Wink, wink. Just as on the nose as the Suncrest tip-off was, they have a screenshot of exactly where to search for the golden key. And I enjoy that their Todd is named Enix. That they use the company name for their lead cat. And old Don Mahone of Don Mahone Luxury Properties LLC is pictured here, aggressively pointing at our POV with a directive overlaid unto him that reads, "Follow the dog, use the search command, and ... Then it's not assigned a route number, but page 20 is fully dedicated to the Golden Key Tour, which each of the 8 stops being pictured with exactly what you can pillage after the come-up. And as you open the golden doors and collect items and information, don't forget to make some notes. Okay, I don't know. I mean, I guess that actually... I didn't really understand that when I fucking was reading it here, but, we kind of talked through it, and I guess that is kind of what I was describing earlier, their purpose is, to make you revisit, and then maybe you talk to some people you didn't talk to last time, and you're back in these places, and maybe, new shit has come to light, and therefore you can better interpret and implement the information that's being given to you that maybe before just landed on dead ears, kind of deaf ears to some degree. So
fair enough.
I guess that's what that means.
Cabbage ears, landed on cabbage ears. Come on.
Yep.
Stay in character.
Yep. Where are your notes taken pointing you to next, Jay? Now that you're getting pretty tatted up here, what's on deck moving forward?
So what's on deck, based on the way that I take my notes, like I said, I like to bold the items and the points of interest that the townsfolk have pointed me to. And so I have to finish my Golden Key tour. And, as part of that, I have to go to Welgarth. So I know I have to go there because I haven't really been there yet. That was behind the gold door, and that's why I was like, oh, I need to kind of get there. So I'm going to go there, finish the Golden Key tour, and then I got to figure out where to get this moon fragment from. It's been referenced at least 3 different times now. Mm-hmm. So got to figure that out, and then Yeah, see if I can get the Rogue Fast Finger yet. I'm kind of thinking those are kind of the next things.
Yep. Yeah. Plenty of There's no much more direction, I guess, this time. It's very. I guess random how we're choosing to fucking end our episode structure here. So it's not like any job they did, I guess. At least probably not. But yeah, this time it does seem like there's very defined things that we need to do, and
also grinding. The fact that like there's multiple things that feels like I need to buy all of a sudden. I need more gold, so I'm gonna have to grind.
You will. Yeah, that fucking Thunder Sword's coming up. That fucking Falcon Sword and Zune Ton, whatever the fuck it is, Tune, Zune Tune Woon, wherever it's at. There's definitely some shit to buy. Agreed.
Mink coat if you haven't done it.
Yeah. Is that have we found that yet? Is that?
It's in Wellgarth. I just walked up to a counter. And I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
it's expensive. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I've ever bought that, and I can't remember. Is it better than the clothes?
It's better than.
I'm saying that than the water flying clothes. Sorry.
Oh, it's actually not.
Yeah, I would guess that's probably why. That? Because that's not just in a store.
Yeah, spoiler alert, the Prince of Cannot can use it, though, and it is better than the magic armor.
Oh,
the
mink
coat.
Is
everything.
Is it better at that price point? I'm not so sure.
Well, we'll see how much fucking... Yeah. I've never beat it. You can't really remember. Jay's never beat it. There may be a whole lot more random walking around where it's not really technically grinding to do still. Maybe.
Yeah, but you're grinding.
Yeah. In your own way. So on to our status updates. Gentle Ma, where do you reside?
Gentle Ma has strength 75, agility 56, hit points 78, maximum HP 95, obviously no magic or MP, attack power 125, defense power 93, and in terms of XP, he has 48,947.
You said 19 or 20?
Level, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm level 20.
Gotta be 20.
Yeah.
And your HP is 76?
That
can't be your max.
I'm not max. I gotta go heal or something. I'm no max.
It should just list your maximum HP.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me run to the inn.
Yeah, if you go to your status, it'll show your max.
Yeah, actually.
I went to status, but it didn't. I was in the status menu, but it didn't.
No, it's got it. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, there's a separate line item for max and your current.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I was gonna say, holy.
Should I do that again? Should we do that again?
You can just tell us.
Yeah. So, 75 strength, 56 agility, 95 HP.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense to me. Yeah, because my concern, I'm looking at what mine was for 21. I'm like, God damn, I did not jot down that significant of a jump. That's crazy. You said you're the same level, right, Jeb?
Yeah, that's why I was I wanted him to say what his max HP was, because I just wanted to see how different it was. Yeah, mine also at 20, 75 strength, 56 agility. Did I feed you? I think that's the problem. 56 agility, 95 hit points, so the same. My attack power is 115, and my defense power is 89. So I'm obviously missing something. I think that's a Dragon's Bane, maybe?
I don't think that adds... No, I don't think that adds to your... It's the helmet.
I'm rocking the helmet.
Yeah, it's the helmet.
Right. I didn't steal from the treasury like you assholes.
Yeah. Hey, it's not stealing. It's opening your birthright. So
yeah, I mean, that much like Tsar Nicholas II is the richest man in history, because technically every possession, everything in Russia was his. So he was the richest man in history.
Okay.
Yeah. Until a bunch of communists shot him in the basement, so that probably wasn't a great idea.
That's how it works.
That is how it works.
That's the problem with being the richest man, is someone probably is going to shoot you.
Someone's going to slap your ass.
Yeah. You don't get to be the richest man and then die peacefully in fucking St. Pete on a vacation or something.
Did you reference St. Petersburg because you knew that was the capital of Imperial Russia?
No, but
that's impressive,
I'm sure there was some sort of subconscious correlation there.
Okay.
Todd's level 21, strength's 81, agility is 59, HP is 101. Doesn't have any MP yet. Drats. His attack power is all the way up to 131. His defense power is at 104. and the XP 57,504.
All right, you got a lot more XP.
Yep, the level jumps are fucking big disparities these days.
Yeah, the levels in this game suck.
Yeah,
I'll level up with Prince of Maidenhall and be like, +1 HP, no magic, and +1 power. Like, wow, thanks.
yeah, huge fucking help in my endeavors here. So that's where we're at, and that's where we're going. And, I kind of, before, I think it was the last episode, before episode 3, I think I was like a little bit of a freak out about our ability to ever finish this and the trajectory that we were on. And I kind of feel like we might fuck around and beat it for the next episode.
Never know.
I don't know at all. I honestly have no clue. But
I feel like we got 2 more. I think this is a 2-parter.
Okay.
But we got actually a lot of shit done on this one.
Yeah.
Like, by the time I finished it, I was like, oh, we actually did some shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to ask that. But, in part of not knowing what's next, I don't know if it's going to go from 2 crests remaining to Hargon, or if there's some shit between there. And
Can't remember.
yeah, that's, if there is something substantial between there, wow. wow. I guess impressive, wow, because that's a lot of game for 1990, to pack on an NES card. So good for them that they, if they can do that. But it would still be a nice sizable chunk of RPG, and even if we only have the 2 crests and go straight to Hargon. And that's what I'm saying. If that's the case, I don't see why, depending on what's involved with those crests, I suppose, why we couldn't do that. But we shall see.
Sure.
Time will tell. Subscribe to the pod on the platform provided, whatever dumbest company that serves up your pottery. Please rate and leave positive shit for the pod on whatever platform you do listen to us on if you enjoy our shit. Website is nyehentertainment.com/ISOHpod. Email us at isohpodcast@gmail.com if you can't find Jab's telephone pole posts to interact with. And follow the pod and banter with us on the Facebook page, Instagram, and subreddit, and talk shit to us about our gameplay videos on the YouTube. Links to all those will be in the show notes, as they always are. We don't have a Patreon, but if you'd like to give money things.
Money things.
To give money things. We don't have a Patreon, but if you like giving money to things podcasters tell you to and would like to do so in our direction, the Able Gamers Foundation creates custom gaming rigs for gamers with disabilities, and that's cool as fuck. ablegamers.org is where you can find them, and I know they're doing their first annual gala later in April. It's a digital deal, but they have some cool, physical, tangible fucking loot boxes and shit that you can get. So go to the website and check those out if you're looking to support them in a cool way that gets you some shit in your mailbox. And there are t-shirts on the website. They're dope, and proceeds on those after pod expenses go to Able Gamers. Jay and I are both rocking one. Jay might be, or Jab might be too. We'll never know. And Jab, what are your socials?
I have none.
That's wrong.
Well, I have none. This exists without my consent. I don't manage it. I don't have anything to do with it. So I don't know.
But it is MPO Box 0031 on Instagram.
There you go.
If you want to follow Jab by proxy. Jay, what are your socials?
Nice. Gentleman JB without the second E. That's where you can find me everywhere.
I'm on Twitter at Josh Folan. On Instagram at MyShiftKeyIsBroke. That's where you can find me fucking playing Hexen on my Oculus, and where I'm going to be playing Demio with Jab tonight, which is really exciting. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Later.